Ahora sí. No es que no estaba bien puesto eso, pero ya está. Ahora sí, ¿dónde quedó la pieza? Aquí está. Recuperar otra blanca. Sí, pero ahorita. K17. Ahí está. Mm, mm, ya. Ahora sí, seguimos. ¿Dónde está la cámara? Aquí está, seguimos. Sí, es cierto, se me olvidó poner uno de estos. Me olvidé que mi mano es muy graciosa y, y tengo que hacer estas madres. Lo tengo que comprar de una talla más grande porque se me quedaron chiquitos, pero no pasa nada. Funcionan para lo mismo. No se me quedan un poco apretados. Así que vamos a ponerlo aquí mero. Ah, que son medianos, tengo que comprar los grandes. Ay. ¿Qué tal? Sky Mágico, ¿verdad? Me tardé en leer eso. Muchas gracias por los likes. No, por el like. Pues si quieres dar más, pues muchas gracias igual. Ahora sí. Espero que no suene mucho el 20. Si suena mucho, me dicen. Está haciendo calorcito porque tiene rato que estoy con las ventanas cerradas, ya que hace rato se soltó una pinche tormenta mamoncísima. Que de hecho, en lo que veníamos de regreso, porque fuimos mi roomie y yo a jugar cartas a un local acá cerca, eh, vimos cómo cayó el pinche rayo en frente a nosotros, porque imagínense que estamos sentados en la... Ahorita lo voy a volver a contar, porque no escuchó Dani, pero imagínense que estábamos sentados en ¿cómo se llama? En la... Íbamos en el carro, y en lo que estábamos esperando así el alto atrás del primerito, que está en la fila para avanzar, que está mero, está frente del alto, nosotros uno atrás a la izquierda, estamos hablando, no sé de qué mamá estamos hablando, y nada más de repente se escucha un pinche truenosote, pero mamón, así. Y el trueno no fue lo que sonó tan duro, sino que lo que me sorprendió fue que, como yo estaba viendo el Alexei, digamos que ustedes están acá, ¿no? Y el frente del carro está acá. Yo estaba viendo el Alexei, y por un momento se iluminó bien cabrón el güey, y se fue de, ¿qué pido? Y volteó a ver de dónde venía la luz, y al momento, acto seguido, se escucha el estruendo, y el pinche ¿cómo se llama? No, transformador, perdón, explotó así, bien mamón. Y los dos nos quedamos de, ¡a la verga, güey! Y se fue la luz en toda una cuadra. Ay, mm, A ver si Daniel ya se ocupó. Hola, hola. Nada, sabiduría. Mm, están las lijas, están acá. Ori, porque te estaba esperando. No, te estaba esperando. ¡Ah! Ori, pero. Creo que sí, pero a ver si no lo vuelvo a pasar ahorita que te esté transmitiendo. Porque según yo fue en ese momento. Ahorita veo. Ay, güey. Nunca se ve bien cómo chingados usa esta madre. Una chingadera que trae el kit para las piezas. Pero yo lo ocupo más para. Se supone que es un separador. Pero yo lo ocupo más para. Este. ¿Para qué? Para. Vamos a hacer. Voy a tomar algo más chiquito. Para. eh, Doblar las lijas que tengo y poder usarlas sobre el plástico. Mm, mm. Vamos a animarlo un poquito acá. Pero, por acá. Órale. Bien. Un poquito de mente. Ah, por eso estás loca. Yo te vuelvo insana. Ok. ¿Qué te hago, güey? Y ya por eso. Mm. Digo que no aguantas vara. Ya. ¿Por qué? Órale. No autorizo. Ahorita seguimos viendo TikTok. Déjame terminar esta pieza. Mm. Está la lija de 4. Ahí va. Ahí va. ¿Qué estás diciendo? ¿Cuál? Ah, esta. ¿Qué pido? ¿Por qué? Ya, me voy a conectar una pieza. Ahí está la sigo. Vamos a ver TikTok. ¿Cuántas? Ya te vi. ¿Estás viendo? Va. Creo que cuando te empieza a transmitir a ti no sé por qué se empieza a morir. Espérame, espérame. Ah, a lo mejor es esto. A ver si ajustando esto cambia algo. Mm, De morro, supongo. Ahí está. A ver si con esto no se traba tanto. Creo que no. ¿Lo ves bien? ¿Qué? Ah, sí, voy. Creo que sí, ya vi que era. Y... Ahora sí.
Mejores universidades.
Yo ahorita peleando con el pinche OS y tú jugando en la Switch 1.
No te faltó comida si la gente.
¿Qué pedo? También te lo mandé.
Oh my god, you're pregnant! Congrats!
Go commit crimes. No, not that one. Not that one.
Hey, show me your pretty nails. Ooh.
Chicken, you're on a diet, bud. Because you're too fat. I know.
That was.
Why are you doing this?
Hala. Bye. Bye.
Hello. You want to come over for a treat? I thought so.
Are you hungry? Are you hungry, little lady? Yeah, are you hungry?
Yumi? Kitty, kitty. Wow,
What?
you're nice, kitty.
Hey, buddy, I can't let you outside.
Oh.
If you do anything bad, I'm gonna spank you.
Oh my god! This is what happens to bad kitties.
Симба, принеси туалетную бумагу.
Do you want to eat? Okay.
I guess hungry?
Ah.
Oh my god, you're pregnant!
Ya que me tocó a mí. Árbol, ¿eh?
Mis 5 momentos más icónicos de XH Derbez y Derbez en cuando. Número 5, cuando va caminando por la calle tranquilamente y lo asalta una persona muy amable.
Permítame desabrocharle el reloj, no lo vaya yo a lastimar.
Ah, sí.
¿Me ayuda?
Sí, por favor, por favor.
Número 4, cuando le preguntan al maestro Armando Hoyos el significado sobre esta palabra.
Maestro, ¿qué significa?
Tubérculo, expresión de los apaches cuando alguien los veía desnudos.
Tubérculo.
Número 3, cuando el maestro Nicolás Tranquilino está dando su show y la producción se equivoca y él dice esta frase icónica.
Música de Los Ángeles. ¡Producción!
Número 2, cuando el chef Pepe Ronnie está mostrando una de sus recetas y pasa esta escena icónica.
El camarón, antes de echarlo a la olla, se pela. Ya se peló.
Y antes de pasar al número 1, mención honorífica de cuando la licenciada Pamela Juanjo Lee Jones le hace esta pregunta.
¿Ha tenido alguna experiencia extraña?
Una vez que estaba checando una paciente muy guapa, cuando de repente que se me pone tiesa.
Se supone que ya estaba muerta, ¿no?
¿Quién?
Pues la muchacha.
Ah, ella sí.
Número 1, cuando está siendo el mesero de un restaurante y dice esta frase icónica.
¿La carne asada viene con pellejo?
No, señor, le garantizo que no viene con pellejos.
Porque a mí me gusta con pellejos.
Que no viene con pellejos porque es un pellejo completo. Al cliente, lo que pida.
Comenta qué otro top te gustaría ver.
Mis
5 momentos.
Que eran puros putos sketch a lo idiota. Perro. Literalmente de ahí, en un sketch que hicieron ahí, salió la familia Peluche. Porque solo era un sketch que hicieron así de rápido. Y está en pendeja la historia, como cuentan de que ¿qué le ponemos? Y encontraron un pinche vestuario así de peluche a los dos y fue, pues pónganselo. Y ya, a las chingadas, lo pusieron así. Y el sketch, la base del sketch era que simplemente era una esposa como neurótica y que abusaba bien culero a su marido, pero pensaban que era al revés. Y de hecho originalmente no iba a ser la... ¿Cómo se llama la actriz? Consuelo Duval. Iba a ser alguien más, pero creo que no llegó ese día. Y fue de ¿quién está cerca? La Consuelo. Ah, pues dile que se jale. Y ya. Así fue.
There will be no foolish wand waving or silly incantations in this class.
Is this your elbow? Or is this your elbow?
I was just trying to record his side eye.
Ay, le pegué la cámara.
Oh my god, okay.
Así le hacía a Wanda cuando estaba así acostada conmigo. Y ya de que no, ya vete a tu cama. Y se pone así. Y la intentas quitar y se pone así pesada, se pone dura. Para que no quitarse. Sí. Qué de risa. Oh. Okay.
High five. Too slow.
Hey, if you see some of my art, what's really going on? Like that.
Hey, you get down the fiddle and you get down the bow.
That's why he loves me.
La perra. Oh.
Hi, excuse me, I had an appointment for today. Oh.
Madre, cómo canta.
Ya, vale para mí. Vale para mí.
Qué pedo es un salchicha dálmata.
Is this your elbow? Or is...
Oh.
¿Está bien?
¿Está bien? Un puto comentario de... No está aquí, decía... ¿Qué pedo? La gravedad de ahí adentro está aumentada como un pinche Dragon Ball Z y no la aguantó. Es que literalmente es el momento que entra. ¡Pum! ¡Oh! Sumar una pinche fuerza inconmensurable lo jala hacia abajo. Ve que la gravedad de la tienda está aumentada.
¿Estás bien?
A la verga. Es que no dice nada, nomás se queda ahí con los ojos abiertos.
¿Está bien?
Su madre. Órale. Ahí está.
¿Cuál es el mejor whisky del mundo?
¡Ala!
A ver si aguanto tu M1014.
¿Cómo así?
¿Cuál fue la primera palabra que dijo George?
¿Cuál es el mejor whisky del mundo?
Ay, sí se cortó en el cachete porque ve que no tiene nada.
A ver si aguanto.
Y cuando se levanta ya tiene rojito ahí. Órale. ¿Por qué me mandaste esto? Pero ya casi no tomo café yo. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué mierda No mames, voy a hacer ese puto paso la próxima vez que esté con la bola de pirujas.
Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. The cry is not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. So cute.
Hola amigos, aquí estoy de nuevo.
Está cagado de miedo.
Como ven, y vengo a enseñarles que tengo un esclavo que me da caricias cada mañana. ¿Qué les parece? Ustedes también deberían tener un... Hola amigos, aquí estoy de nuevo.
Yo cuando voy al ginecólogo.
¿Y qué tal? Si nos miramos de nuevo.
Es verdad, es
para
verdad.
matar esas ganas.
Oh. ¡Hala, lo salvó la niña! ¿Pero ya estaba ahí o...? Ah, no, iba corriendo al lado. Sí, no más. Qué buen reflejo. Ay, sí, no, ese día que rico me quedó el pinche pollo con verdura, me lo voy a hacer de nuevo. Se lo voy a guardar. Un pollo estaría aquí. Magnífico. Eso cuestan igual las chidas, o sea, las que están muy chidas. Bueno. De la duna. Ah, no, de la nona. Atunes. Ah, el tunía, si lo venden en la cancha de agua. Chocobolas. Verduras. Arroz. Vigor. Ah, sí, la botanera. Ah, no, cuesta la misma madre. Hey. What? Vamos. Hey. Hey. Busca de Chedraui porque el 3 veces está la verga.
Da mucha vuelta, parece motociclista. Ninguno con esta parte. Algo si no me incita. Da mucha vuelta, parece motociclista. Ninguno con esta parte.
¡Salió un perro! ¿Sí o no?
Sí.
Su madre. A la virgen.
Algo si no me incita.
No ve.
Está ciego, nomás no lo cortan el pinche copete. Yoga. Muy zen.
What's the craziest thing a fan's ever done?
One peed on me once.
What?
Are you serious? Wow. It was pretty intense.
Can you beat that?
I have not had any pee, stuff like that, but I've not been peed on yet.
And a final
Yet.
Dating, is it true?
Kristen's pregnant.
Ay, me equivoqué.
Kristen's pregnant.
Dame, se me fue. ¡No! ¿Dónde estamos? Me sacó.
El Robert Pattinson.
Un tal Robert Pattinson.
Dilo, dilo. Dilo.
¿Qué?
Dilo.
¿Qué? Ah, no, pues ya vamos a la mitad. ¿No? Lo dije hace rato.
Bueno.
One peed on you. Kristen's pregnant.
He likes to, he really loves to, like, shock people because he thinks it's funny.
If I have any of this, but as far as I know, these are not true. You told me
She went for the
repeatedly
baby.
that you were living under an archway in Venice under trash can lids.
No.
Right?
There was an archway in my house. That was what that was based on, I think.
And that you have extraordinarily heavy saliva?
What?
Yeah, I like a French fry.
Yeah.
The story I read was that you were at the circus and one died in front of you, basically.
What?
It's another thing where I have trouble distinguishing fact from fiction.
Okay, so Rob is a liar.
He's lying. I sort of think it is true, but it probably isn't.
Time we kind of like hung out when we were preparing for the drama. That was one of the first things he said to me. He was like, "Yeah, I used to be a pathological liar." And I was like, "Are you being serious? Or are you lying?" I can't tell.
What's the craziest thing a fan's ever done?
Si pues muérete a la chingada, güey. Ya muérete, güey, muérete. Pero no estés dando lástimas, güey. Ya te vamos a recordar como el máximo campeón y todo eso, ¿no? No le hagas a la mamada. Si pues muérete a la chingada, güey.
En cuenta que Rakai es una persona que pensaba que yo era de México porque soltó un comentario un poco racista, también te digo.
Que al final dice, de México no te lo crees ni tú.
¿Dijo eso?
Sí.
Por fin. Así soltó, no me acuerdo. Claro. O sea, creo que lo soltó en el directo. De México no te lo crees ni tú. En cuenta que
Aunque sea fácil. Se lo voy a ir mandando al Publi para que lo vayas ampliando.
Lo que me pidió que les dijera es que ella tuvo, o sea, la operaron de emergencia porque le quitaron una de las muelas ayer en la mañana. Entonces, justo como no se quería perder el concierto, pues de alguna manera hizo el esfuerzo de venir. Y más bien, pues les pide que su comprensión, si de repente sienten que su performance se ve afectado o algo, pues es solo porque...
Órale, te quiero mucho, pantalla rosa.
Sí. Tanto con dolor de muela.
Así es. Pero fíjate, es muy inteligente. Tuvo pedo en la muela, pero no se puso a tragar mierdas de la puta calle un día antes de su puto concierto como la manga de idiotas de pinches artistas que son de putas Europa, que nada más comen putos frijoles con tortilla y la verga, llegan aquí y se comen la puta verga de un perro y dicen, no, sí la aguanto a la chingada. Y al puto día siguiente de, Lele Pancha no va a dar concierto. Pendejos.
Sí.
Los odio. Ya, estoy bien, ya lo saqué de mi sistema. Hola, Deni.
Hola, Deni.
En TikTok. Pablo Escobar. Just get in the car. I just wanna be right where you are.
Está bien, perro.
Las putas fiestas de Rap Party que se echaban, sé que estaban poca madre. Oh, padre, cuando fue de la pinche Jessica Jones, me fue el nombre de la
Jessica Jones.
Ándale. Kristen Ritter.
Ahí les van algunas de las cosas más mensas que escuché estando en el TEC de Monterrey. Empezamos, por supuesto, con un clásico. O sea, es que a los blancos también nos discriminan. O sea, cuando vas al mercado te dan todo más caro. La gente... Esto es real, no estoy inventando porque parece un chiste. La gente negra, naturalmente, por naturaleza, es más mala que la gente blanca. Y la prueba es que hay más gente negra en la cárcel. Los gays son muy pasionales, o sea, por eso entre sí, por eso hay más crímenes pasionales. Perdón, ¿cuáles son las fuentes de ese comentario? Que yo tengo amigos. Eso no fue una alumna o un alumno, fue una profesora.
Profesora, a la verga.
¿Qué se parece el gay a estar en un bochito? Que un lleguecito por detrás y ya valiste. Eso también fue un profesor. De hecho, podríamos hacer todo un TikTok de cosas LGBT fóbicas que escuché en el TEC de Monterrey, pero ahí sí tendremos que hacer parte 2 y 3 y 4 y 5 y 6. ¿Saben a quién deberíamos traer a dar una conferencia? A Octavio Paz. También una profesora. Yo sí andaría con alguien pobre.
No mames. Simón promete me pongo la pinche ouija y la pongo en un proyector y te digo a ver qué nos dice.
O sea, claro, o sea, siempre y cuando como trabajara y se superara a sí mismo y saliera de pobre. O sea, yo no creo que tenga nada de malo que el gobierno te esté como checando, que te esté viendo lo que estás haciendo, porque si no estás haciendo nada malo, pues ¿por qué no querrías que te vieran? ¿Por quién van a votar, ¿Por quién van a votar? O sea, ¿no van a votar? O sea, sus muchachas y sus choferes, ellos sí votan, También un profe. O sea, ¿por qué les preocupa tanto lo de los 43? No es como que los conocían. Y este TikTok puede seguir y seguir y seguir.
La virga.
Tú no vas a sentir ni el olor de ese...
Pobrecita. No mames.
Así amaneció mi hermana hoy, amor. ¿Por qué te ríes? Sí, mira.
Así.
Sí, es en serio. Mira, le tomé foto. Mira, WhatsApp.
Mames, pobrecito perro. A ver, digo. Ay, espérame. ¡A la madre! Sí. No mames. Está viendo hasta el mismo lado, entonces.
Sí.
Mames, pobrecito, no te bajan del Homero. No mames, pobrecito. ¿Qué le habrá picado? A la verga. Ay, güey. Ahora sí.
Pero yo coleccionaba tangas firmadas.
A la verga.
Originales. Les fui guardando en una caja de huevo.
Bien chelado,
No cajotas, sino una cajita así. Entonces, unas 100, 120 tangas. Y todas, o sea, nada de que, ay, toma si te regalo mi tanga. No. O sea, usted sabe a qué me refiero. Hacíamos el koi. Pero yo coleccionaba tangas.
Porque quiero tenerte para mí. Y no quiero estar que tú te vas.
¿Te imaginas que el Gabo le manda un mensaje así a Deni?
¡Ah, la me quedé! Deni, ¿qué pedo? ¿De qué estás escuchando? Dile algo. O sea, a mí me pasa eso, pero no. Esa madre bien pinche performativa. Yo me acuerdo de una puta canción cuando digo una palabra y es como de. No sé, dime una puta palabra a ver que me acuerde de una canción.
Pastel.
Dime una palabra que me recuerde y me despida una canción, mi vida.
Pastel.
A ver.
Rosa pastel.
¿Dice Rosa Pastel en la puta canción?
Sí.
¿Dónde?
Rosa pastel.
Ese es el
Clichecito.
puto coro. Dije,
Tonterías.
recuerda una rola. Dime, de las putas
¿Y qué
mil y
no
un
dice
veces.
ahí? Y no dice ahí. Y no dice. No, no
¡Ah!
está
Olvídalo.
dentro del coro de una
Olvídalo.
canción.
Olvídalo.
Fuck you.
Olvídalo. Olvídalo. Olvídalo.
I can't stand Libra women because I will literally be talking to a Libra woman and like we're having a great convo. It's a little flirty. It's a little fun. Her eyes are piercing my soul and you know the Libra look. And like she will say the most flirty things to you just for her at the end of the conversation. Yeah, I'm gonna go home to my boyfriend now. Your boyfriend? You're in a relationship with a man? You're in a relationship, period? Or we just... Oh, okay.
Así se sintió, Nana.
Okay.
Ándale.
And this is why I need to stay away from Libra women. Because...
Así se sintió, Cari.
They will always get...
Es que no te lo puto creo. Una tía subió a TikTok que se encuentra con Jacob Elordi en un avión, le saluda, le dice que le encanta, llegan a su destino y de repente le dice, oye, dame 2 minutos. Se va el Jacob a una librería que hay en el aeropuerto, compra un libro de Cumbres Borrascosas y se lo firma poniendo, espero que salga el sol para ti hoy. Firmado Heathcliff, de Cumbres Borrascosas. Se lo da a la tía, se hacen una foto y le dice chao. Que me acabas de comprar un libro, o sea, y me lo acabas de firmar, perdóname. A mí me hace eso Jacob Elordi y te lo juro que yo no le dejo en paz el resto de su puñetera vida. O sea, le daría un por culo, pensaría que somos ya pareja. Es que no te lo puto creo. Una tía subió a TikTok.
¿Y por qué no hay paredes blancas? Porque ayer justamente las mandé a quitar todas. Para ver quién era el primer pendejo que venía a preguntar por qué no había paredes blancas aquí atrás. ¡Y ganaste! ¡Hey! ¡Ja! ¡Hey! ¿Viste? Y al final no pude, pero mira, los claxons nos ayudaron. Los claxons, los cantantes de los claxons, ¿no? ¿Y por qué no hay paredes blancas?
Sí.
¿Tiene frío? Ya, apúrate, güey. Cagado de frío, pobrecito.
Es Ferdi.
Va.
O sea, solamente imita el timbre del artista.
Ah. ¿Por qué me ves así? ¿Por qué me ves así? Why are you looking at me like that?
¿Nada más?
¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Sí, ya sé, puta madre, yo también lo hago. Cada puto artista diferente es como de, se huele así. La pinche Fergie. ¿Quién es el otro? El pinche Samuel Casablanca, se iba a decir. Julián Casablanca.
Samuel. Who
Sam,
the fuck is Samuel?
el Julián Casablancas. De Pichicada. Forgotten the open. They given the radio
Nada más cerré los
into
ojos.
a deafening dream. Ay, más también el pinche.
El Elvis, dice la mamá de
With
Denis.
suspicious minds. Ándale, el Elvis. ¿Cómo está el Elvis? If I
Esa
can
señora te
dream.
salvó tu traje.
Hey, no, ahí lo tengo. Está, mira, está blanco. Está blanco, gracias a esa señora. Si no te en barra de mierda.
Sí.
Su puta madre la Deni así.
Ay, pero tú estabas. Sí, dale, dale.
Sí, no mames, yo no soy el que metió la puta hielera al lado de mi traje.
Yo tampoco. Yo no metí tu traje atrás.
Yo tampoco.
I'm an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Here we go. I'm an idiot. Come on, we got this.
I'm not scared at all.
3, 2, 1. Ow! Ow! Oh my gosh! Wait, oh my gosh! I'm a dumbass. Ow! 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 I'm a dumbass. Ow! Oh, it's stuck to my skin. It's stuck. I'm an idiot. I'm such an idiot. Here we go. I'm an idiot. Come on, come on.
Everything that I've had, praise the Lord. Worship Christ with the best of your portions. I know I won't forget.
Tenía una caja de pizza.
Demonios, no puede ir peor.
¿Qué?
Eso de demonios. No podría ir peor la cita. Está con la guitarra.
¿Escuchaste los audios que te mandé? Cayó un puto rayo a 5 metros de mí, mi vida. No mames, vi cómo explotó el pinche transformador entre mis ojos.
Buah.
¿Quieres que te lo describa?
Sí.
Bueno, mira, imagínate, así imagínate. Vas en el carrito, ¿no? Va la Alexia manejando, yo voy aquí al lado. Vamos platicando de alguna pendejada, ya ni me acuerdo de qué. El puto es que yo lo estaba volteando a ver así a su cara. Como de, Simón, sí, la. No, ya estaba lloviendo bien culero y se veían rayos a lo lejos. Estoy viendo al pinche Alexei en su cara y nomás de repente, te lo juro, mira, te lo juro. El Alexei, imagínate que yo soy el Alexei, estoy así nomás de repente. Se iluminó bien cabrón su puta cara y se iluminó todo. Y sí fue de, ¿qué pedo? Y en ese segundo que me di cuenta que se iluminó todo, se escuchó un ¡pum! Pero durísimo, no el trueno, el puto transformador. Volteo que después del sonido que me hace reaccionar y veo literal así chispas como si fuera un pinche cohete de fuegos artificiales así y así de lado a lado y al mismo tiempo se escucha el pinche de la puta electricidad y se ven los pinches rayos azules así por unos segundos y ¡yum! Y al momento que se apaga todo se apaga a la verga, mi amor. Los semáforos, todas las luces de como de 5 a 10 cuadras a la redonda no tenían luz. Todo, solo se veían las pinches luces de los carros. Sin semáforos y estábamos mero en la pinche encrucijada de dos principales. Y sí fue de... A la verga, güey, acaba de caer un rayo. Es que sí veo bien mamón, de la nada todo... ¡pum! Se apagó. Sí fue de... ¡A la verga! Y ya fue de que, pues, como que empezó a avanzar el carro y ya nos fuimos yendo. Porque todo fue de que pedo, ¿quién avanza ahora? Pero no mames, bien mamón la pinche así iluminación completa y no más de repente, ¡puf! De no mames, qué pedo. Estuve a 5 metros de morirme a la verga. Ya, fue todo. Ya pues manda mensaje de los players que estaba ahí a la vuelta de que tienen luz. No.
No.
No. Ya. A la madre, ¿por qué cayó tan feliz? Te vale madre.
No.
Oh. Oh.
Yo.
Bésame junto a tus labios con los míos otra vez. Que quiero amarte y decir bésame.
¿Tú pintaste esto?
Sí, fui yo.
¿Y llamas a esto una pintura?
Sí, por supuesto.
Dime con franqueza, porque quisiera entender. ¿Por qué dices que eres pintor?
Sí.
¿Tú pintaste esto?
Sí, fui yo.
Así saldría.
Sí. Nada más desde que se les antoje, se les hiperfije y ya valió madre. Igual el otro video que te mandé de la niña que está encima de la pinche silla mecedora y está viendo la tele parada. Ay, para la rola. ¡A la verga! Y lo balació una camioneta sin placas. Se hizo mierda la silla.
¿Qué te voy a hacer?
Pues me encontré eso en internet.
¿Internet? Put the shit on the fucking toilet, ¿me entiendes? Yo no uso redes sociales. Yo Facebook no lo uso porque es para ancianos. Yo no soy un anciano.
Me dio
No
mucha
uso
risa de
Instagram porque
puta shit in the fucking toilet.
Puta shit in a fucking toilet.
es para gente pobre que quiere presumir un cafecito de 50.
Así voy a grabar uno contigo.
Ah, conmigo la mando. Yo lo voy a hacer uno yo. Que diga así, cobrándosela al abuelo de Dani. Y voy a agarrar un sartén así, huevos.
Y ahora quiero un ruido de las gritonas. Gritando así. Gritando así. Gritando así.
Señora, no puede estar abriendo los productos.
¡Úchales, mijo! ¿Y cómo sé que huele? Pues lo tengo que oler, ni modo.
Tiene que pagarlo.
No, pues ¿cómo lo voy a pagar si no sé a qué huela? Uy, este es el precio de hoy. No, la semana pasada lo vi más barato. En el otro súper está más económico. Me voy para allá, gracias. Mija, disculpa, ¿y el área del café?
Ya está en el área del café, señorita.
No, el de cápsula. Estoy buscando las cápsulas. ¿Dónde? Disculpa, mijo, ¿tienes un vino llamado Cabernet Sauvignon? Así se llama. ¿Y los tomates?
¿Los tiene enfrente, señorita?
No, estos son jitomates. Eres nuevo, ¿verdad? Se nota. ¿El arroz orgánico? ¿De qué lado lo tiene? Sí, o sea, sin pesticidas. ¿Tienes? No, señorita, me tienen que respetar el precio. Aquí dice 33 por 3 rollos. 1, 2, 3, 33. ¿Me puedes dar un kilo de carne molida, por favor?
Aquí es salchichonería, no carnicería.
¿No vendes carne? Pues es lo mismo.
Pero otra vez se volvió a morir el pitch stream. Dame un segundo. ¿Cómo se llama la página esta?
Charlie.
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 Oh, me now.
I'm 6 feet from the end and I'm thinking. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué pedo?
Está muy bright.
Ah, perdón. ¡Gol! Me banearon.
¿Qué?
¿Eh?
¿La canción?
¿Cuál?
No sé, ¿por qué te banearon?
No sé. A ver. Ah.
Dice hate.
Ajá. ¿Quién sabe qué dije? Vamos a ver.
¿Qué dijiste?
¿No
¿Qué dijimos?
¿No lo
No manches. ¿Te banearon para siempre?
¿Quién sabe? A ver. Aquí está. Live violation, dice. Hasta el 13. O sea, pero solo me quitaron el acceso. Pero no sé por qué. Fragmento.
¿Qué dijimos?
Mira, aquí hay un fragmento. Fue unos segundos. Discurso y muestras de odio moral.
¿Qué fue?
Ah. LOL. Qué mamada, ya sé qué fue.
¿Qué?
Qué pendejada. Fue cuando estaba contando lo del rayo. Fue porque dije estuve a 5 metros de fallecer. Pero lo dije
No
de otra
manches.
manera. Solo por eso. Escucha.
No manches.
Ya, eso fue todo. Qué pendejada.
Sí, what the fuck.
Déjame ver. Ta.
Me cagué.
Bye. Bueno, esta madre luego al rato. Va, ya vi. ¿Qué mamá? No puedo decir que casi perezco. ¿Qué vamos a?
Munición.
Como diría una persona muy sabia. ¿Qué vamos a?
¿Qué vamos a hacer?
Así es.
Ah,
Pero
me
bueno,
eché un
seguimos.
pedo.
No mames. Pero bueno, seguimos en TikTok y en Twitch y en Kick. No, seguimos en Twitch, en Twitch, en YouTube y en Kick.
Va.
Venga, ahora sí.
Dale.
No, claro que no es lo mismo.
Úchales, no quieres trabajar. No, te voy a reportar, ¿eh? ¿Me puedes cobrar 20 pesos de esta tarjeta? 30 de esta y 50 centavos de esta, por favor. ¡Rateros!
Señora, no puede estar abriendo los productos.
Úchales, mijo, ¿y cómo sé que huele?
Úchales.
Dale play.
Voy. Mírame. Ay, güey, no puedo escribir con esto. Oh, me now.
I'm a broken robot.
Trufa. ¡Hola!
¡Ta la madre!
¡Ay! ¡Trufa, ven! ¡Ven! ¡Trufa! ¡Trufa! ¡Trufa!
Ah, está la orillita.
¡Trufa, ven con mamá! ¡Ven, ven, ven!
Está bien a gusto.
Sí.
So go to the left?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Lo agarra y se lo lleva.
Get up. What the fuck?
I got you.
I didn't do nothing. I just cracked. You told me to crack her neck, baby.
I thought it was your bag.
Crack it.
La Santa se agarró la boca.
Thanks. Fucking massage. Twist my neck.
Like this? Oh my fucking gosh.
Oh my fucking god.
Mamá.
¿Tú querías?
A mí no me la podría aplicar.
Oh.
Así, te diría, no sé, estás bien. Tu cuello no se puede romper a esa distancia, tiene que girar más.
¿Por qué sabes eso?
I just know it.
Perú y en los Andes. Estos tienen un método de protección llamado bolo alimenticio o escupitajo y gargajo, donde mastican. Está acostado, miren.
Está acostado, amigo.
Perú y en los Andes.
Está acostado.
¿Por qué sabes eso?
¿Qué?
Perú y en los
¿Por qué sabes eso?
¿Qué?
Lo del cuello.
Ah, pues porque lo he investigado.
¿Por qué?
Porque tenía curiosidad de qué tanto tiene que girarse un pescuezo para matar a alguien. Ya estoy en TikTok, así que ya puedo decir eso.
Y te sorprende el por qué te maneja. ¿Y por qué te dio curiosidad?
No más. Solo
eso es normal.
Sí, creo que he visto una película donde hacían esa mamada y me metió a la cabeza de que ¿qué tanto tiene que girar un pescuezo? Ya me puse a buscar eso. Ah, ya ves, hasta. Literalmente casi tienes que hacer que voltee a verte. Estando de espaldas. Ah, ya es un. Ah, que probablemente aquí ya así como gallo le hicieron así.
No, yes, fuck it, I am in love with Nate Jacobs and he is in love with me and you know you fucking give me that look, Maddie, because I didn't fuck your boyfriend. You two were broken up for 3 weeks and 3 days before we even had sex, so I didn't betray you. Plus, you guys are terrible for each other and you know I'm right and you guys can all judge me if you want, but I do not care. I have never, ever been happier. No, yes, fuck.
Grab somebody sexy, tell them.
Le dio otra vez. Le dio otra vez.
Grab somebody sexy, tell them.
I live my day, live my day, doing it all night, doing it the way I wanna. Got my day and my heart, I tell it all, but I won't be having it for the count, doing it. Come on,
Órale. Qué bonito.
Sí.
She's there, Hannah Montana.
Sí.
Va, ya
Sí. Ay, ya me voy a ir a dormir.
A ver, ¿cómo comes gelatina?
Así, mira. La aplastas así, mira. Mira.
Mira.
Ándale, mamá. Ándale. Ándale.
Mi mamá va a grabar a ver mis compas. Poner la puta cámara aquí.
Se me fue la gelatina. Menos mal que fue la gelatina y no el plátano. Ay, no.
Pero ahí sigues.
Pues es que me dices cómo es la gelatina.
Pues ya.
Disculpa, ¿no tienes unas palomitas de extra queso light? Sí, sin tanta grasa. No, úchales, no tienen nada. Y es VIP. Úchales, qué caro está todo. Te revientan en el...
Tengo hambre, no estamos viendo TikTok, voy a echarme un cereal. Voy por leche.
¡Córrele!
No.
Uy.
Uy. Planta.
Planta.
Ah, sí, también te dije que quedé en segundo lugar.
Sí.
Quedé en
Wow.
Nomás me ahogué en la última partida, no supe cómo jugarla. Pero no mames. Lo más cerca que he estado de ganar.
Wow.
Sí.
Tiene nada barato, cuesta más una palomita que una entrada. No, antes más barato estaba. Sí, en aquellos entonces, sí. Disculpa, ¿tienes la función de las 8:10?
No, señorita, solo el de las 8.
Uy, no, necesito el de las 8:10. ¿Y a qué hora voy a comer? Oye, úchales, no piensan en nada. Uy, disculpa, ¿no tienes unos dulces gluten free? No, son los únicos. Uy, deberían tener más variedad, son más inclusivos. Oye, discúlpame, ¿no tienes otras películas? Son las únicas, deberían de sacar más para público variado, ¿no? ¿Se les ocurre una idea? Es una sugerencia de mi parte. Ócheles, mijo, ¿no tienes, pero como una cama? Uy, es que me duele mi raquia. ¿Por el frío? Sí. Disculpa, ¿no tienes unas palomitas?
Mi mamá que siempre, años antes, cuando íbamos al cine, le daba un vergo de frío y siempre que íbamos al cine se llevaba su sabanita. Y se dormía. Se echaba un sueñito. Ay. Me daba frío.
A mí también me da frío.
Sí, ya sé, por eso siempre llevo mi gabardina o algo para taparnos. Me estoy pelando el plátano.
Bye.
Sí.
Llévate a ti.
Sí, soy.
Puede ser.
Va a ser un día. ¿Hielo? No. Boots. Boost. For a minute.
¿Qué te voy a hacer?
Esto, mira, está súper en tendencia. Asco, ¿a qué huele?
Vamos cerrando el tito. En mis tiempos las mujeres, ¿qué te voy a hacer?
Ah, ya me acordé quién eres. Eres el...
La cagada en la taza.
El güey que discriminaba a las mujeres. Ese
La
eres.
cagada, ¿qué te voy a hacer?
Sigo siendo tu esclava.
¿Qué?
Sigo siendo tu esclava.
No sé qué dijo.
Sigo siendo tu esclava.
Son de
Gracias, Lucy.
¿Qué dijo?
Gracias, Lucy.
Gracias.
Sigo siendo tu
Esclava. Anda.
Sigo siendo tu esclava.
Ese pueblo así, ¿cierto?
Sigo siendo tu esclava. Sigo siendo tu esclava.
Ay, no me lo sé.
¿Tu niña mimada?
Sigo siendo tu esclava.
¿Tu niña mimada? No me la sé.
Sigo siendo tu esclava. Sigo siendo tu esclava. Sigo siendo tu esclava. Sigo siendo tu esclava. Sigo siendo tu esclava.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Sigo siendo tu esclava.
De tus besos.
Sigo siendo tu esclava.
Sigo siendo tu dama de hierro.
¡Ah, eso es todo! Chócala, hermana. ¿Te la supiste? Sigo siendo tu esclava.
Alguien puso qué grosero. Y le contestaron, pues son poblanos.
¡Qué bonita! ¡Qué bonita!
Ay, mamá, la otra vez.
Ah, la verdad.
My head hit the wall.
Oh.
But I had a prayer. Hit the wall.
Oh.
But I had a prayer.
Vale.
What the fuck? Hey.
And now he's missing the pee pad as usual.
Oh, get the viejito.
Stepped in it, perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, bad dog, good dog.
Está hidratándose y empieza el juego.
Oh no. No. Oh dear God. No.
Se cago. What the fuck?
¡Qué bonita!
Ay,
Ando toda pinche estresada porque no les meto una pincha puta. A ti también no les he dicho que en el piso no me dejen el papel de rollo.
Ahí arriba. Pero
Sí.
ella ya estaba.
Estaba atrás.
Y yo me estaba al baño.
Pero no les he dicho que no lo dejen en el...
Estaba al baño, más que
Mamá, ¿en qué te está grabando? No les voy a comprar papel, cabrón. Para que se limpien con el pinche dedo. Nadie fue. Nadie deja el papel en el baño. No, nadie. Siempre lo mismo. Oye, qué pinche desperdicio, mire. Qué pinche desperdicio, Cari. No, es que no estoy jugando. Dejas en el piso.
Que te calmes tú. Esa verga.
Ando toda pinche estresada porque no les meto una pincha puta.
Calmes tú.
¿Eh?
Yo. A la vida. Un día me va a tocar. Oh no. Oh no.
Sí. Al menos un pedito con caca.
Al menos.
Pero yo te voy a comprar otro pantalón. Yo no voy a lavar esa madre.
Ok.
Y menos a mano.
De la diferencia, mi amor. Yo no me cago encima. Como diría Christian Grey. Yo no cago. Yo me zurro.
Sí.
Ya se acabaron. Esta madre. Vamos a ver TikTok en lo que me termino en cereal.
Okay, that's all.
What do you think it takes to be a hero?
Hiro Hamada.
You may have heard these words before. Go beyond! Plus!
It's not an S. In my world, it means hope.
I don't want to kill anyone. I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from.
With great power comes
comes great responsibility. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right, Parker, come out with your hands up! Maggie. You're gonna need a rain check on that dance.
I'm not who I thought I was.
¿No he dicho que tenía como conceptos abajo a la izquierda?
Parents aren't for telling their children who they're supposed to be. We are here to give y'all tools, help you make fools of yourselves all on your own.
Quiero ver Superman otra vez.
Your choices, Clark. Your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Now, I may not be able to help him, but if I can save someone from a burning building or stop some armed thieves, I'm gonna do it. And you can't stop me. So don't try.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
Ah, vaya.
What do you think it takes to be a hero?
Órale.
Sigo siendo tu esclava. It's turkey time.
All done. See, Bobby? That wasn't so scary.
Whoa, nice unibrow.
Next.
Okay, here I go. Oh man, the camera glitched out again.
Next.
Well, looks like I'm up. Be back in a flash. Another year down, another photo for the collection.
Next.
Okay.
Okay, smile.
What?
Smile.
I'm sorry, what?
Say cheese. Cheese. C-H-E-C-S.
Cheesies?
Oh, okay, so we got a wise guy over here. I usually don't have to do this these days, but I have a little friend to help me out in situations where kids don't like to do no smilings. Meet Mr. Touchy.
What?
Hundreds of miles, hundreds of kids, hundreds of smiles. Everyone, once in a while, needs Mr. Touchy to help them smile.
Okay, that's not...
Smile is good, smile is free.
Hey, look, boss, he's smiling. Get him.
I did it. I was scared, but I did it, and I'm okay.
Yay! How'd the photo turn out?
Let's see that smile.
All done. See you.
Así los quieres tener. ¿Viste?
You are not.
Está
You
loco.
are not a gentle boy. You kind of are.
Oh, se dio un putazo, pobrecito. Oh, hola.
Каждый.
Oh.
Órale.
We're not Britain.
Sopa.
Cagado de frío.
Fuß. Stop. Steh. Okay.
Hala.
Así que tener a los perritos.
Sí. ya se ha acotado conmigo. Bueno, ahora sí vamos a seguir armando el Vitor. Después de un break
A
de
lo
una
mejor me
hora.
quedo dormida.
A lo mejor. No mames.
¿Qué?
A lo mejor.
Pues qué.
Todavía lo dudas. No mames.
Oye, qué grosero.
No mames.
Qué grosero.
No mames.
Oh, y si no me duermo. ¿Qué?
¿Cómo no te vas a dormir?
¿Por qué lo dices?
Porque tú siempre te duermes. Me bajé.
Sí.
A ver, eso ya está. ¿Qué pido? B3 y
Me dio
B4.
risa. ¿No puedo reír o qué?
¿Pero por qué? ¿Qué te dio risa?
Que eruptaste, que eruptaste.
Ya, por eso.
Pues sí. A lo mejor te digo, me pestañeo.
Es como si hubiera una posibilidad de que no fuese así mi vida.
Pues no la hay. O sea, bueno, o sea, sí
Exactamente,
hay
no hay una posibilidad.
No me
No hay
equivoqué.
posibilidad porque es un hecho. Es un hecho
No es
que va a pasar
cierto.
mi vida. Es así un facto. Es
No
un
es
facto.
cierto. Me he quedado despierta.
Ah, creo.
Bueno,
Vamos a seguir. Uy. Ahora sí, ¿qué estaba armando? ¿En qué me quedé?
el Vitor.
Ah, sí es cierto. B4, B3.
Ya me va a bajar.
Pobrecita.
Sí, ya me está doliendo.
Pobrecita. B4, B3. Uy. K8. Me dormiste.
No es cierto.
Yo creo que sí. Yo creo que ya estás bien dormida.
No.
Sí. Estás soñando que estás hablando conmigo. En realidad estás dormida.
No es cierto.
No, sí. cierto. Fíjate. Por eso ya no lo hacía, no me acuerdo que tenía esto. Busca, ya no me acuerdo. Es el blanco, es el último. Vamos a ver. Ya, vamos a empezar. El color al final.
There is a pretty big story that's unfolding in the NFL right now with a very famous reporter named Diana Rossini, formerly of SportsCenter fame. Now she's with The Athletic, and she was seen getting real close and comfy with Mike Vrabel, the Patriots head coach, at a resort. There's quite a few pictures of them together, holding hands, hugging, lounging by the pool in the hot tub, just the two of them. And this is causing quite a stir because Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini are both married to other people. And the evidence provided here is causing a divide, with some claiming that this is clear evidence of cheating and others saying, no, this isn't scandalous, this is actually just normal business etiquette. She's just there trying to get the scoop, and this is just all above board professionalism. It's some spicy, messy shit here, and I really want to go over it, so I'm going to show you everything. Real quick, though, I want to make a mention of something that people keep bringing up on stream, so I'm just going to talk about it real quick in this video. There is a Spotify page called Penguin Z0. There's also one for Moist Critical Gaming, and people have stumbled upon it, and a lot of people believe that this is some bad actor nefariously re-uploading all of my shit over there. I just want to make it clear, it's me. Well, actually, Aaron. Aaron was the one that's just been uploading on Spotify, and now it's another friend of ours that does it, but it is actually us doing that. because there's no reason not to do that, especially because of that exploit I talked about a while ago, where there were some bad actors that would re-upload people's audio clips to Spotify in order to copyright claim their actual YouTube videos. So about a year ago, we tried to just get ahead of that when that was starting to pop off, and we just started uploading my full videos over there. So don't panic, it's no one doing anything sketchy, it's just us re-uploading all the content over there, just for the sake of safety, and again, there's really no reason not to. So I guess also shouting out to Spotify here, if you have Spotify and prefer to watch or listen to things over there, videos are available there too. Anyway, let's now dive into the spaghetti and the meatballs here. Diana and Mike were spotted at a luxury hotel a couple weekends ago, and they spent quite a bit of time together, so here's a picture of them holding hands, and then here's them hugging on that same like rooftop area looking out at the mountains and all of the beautiful green scenery out there. There's also photos of them in the hot tub together and by the pool together, and it's only ever just the two of them. It looks like your fantasy fairy tale vacation getaway. It honestly looks like they're on their honeymoon right now. And obviously this kind of was a big deal because they are both married to other people. And Diana in particular has been kind of vocal dunking on her husband over the years. She actually got a bit of a reputation for clowning on him and seemingly like belittling him publicly in front of the whole world to kind of point and laugh at her husband.
To address this, it happened earlier in our program today. For those of you who weren't watching, Diana Rossini said this.
And I think we all do weird things when we're in love, and we overshare and overpost. And look, he's married. He's getting married to a beautiful actress. I'm married to someone average. I don't post a lot about him. If I was married to someone beautiful, I'd overpost too.
Hey.
Now this doesn't seem nice. We have put together photos of Diana's husband here for everyone to see, so you can make some amends on national television.
We're average together, and you know what the worst part is? He sent me a text during that segment, not watching because he actually works for a living, and he said, "Good luck today, be great on Get Up." So the guy's got a heart of gold, and here I am on national TV killing him. Look, we're average together, but he makes me above average because he married me. So I am so sorry. I need to really stop killing my husband on television. I'm going to be divorced by Christmas.
That is heartbreaking to hear. Imagine you sending a text to the love of your life like, "Hey, good luck, I know you're going to kill it today." And then you come home and see that she's just like, "Yeah, I'm married to someone average. If it was someone beautiful, I'd overpost too." Bro, even just like picturing that's got me going into like a fugue state, like I'm traveling through space and time. Like that is brutal. That is awful. And then you can see under the video there, that's just a screenshot someone had taken where, again, she just publicly clowns on her husband, where someone made a comment saying, "You need a boyfriend," and she says, "Yeah, I tell that to my husband all the time." Ooh-wee, you jeepers. Like that, I don't know how that just gets played off as like a joke. That's just a terrible thing to say about your life partner, your fucking supposed soulmate that you're married to just publicly being like, "Yeah, they're average, they're not beautiful or anything. If they were beautiful, I'd probably be posting a lot about them too, but I'm kind of ashamed, so I throw them into the basement and try and just forget that they exist because they're not beautiful, they're just average." And then like, "Oh yeah, I really need a boyfriend. I keep telling my husband that, haha." That's fucked up, man. And I feel like if a guy went out there and said like, "Oh, my wife, she's a real battle axe. She's not really a looker, so I don't like to post about her," it would be perceived far different than Diana Rossini's clowning on her husband has been. I just don't know who hears that and thinks that it's like, ha ha ha, in good fun. I'm sure her husband also really appreciates when he gets insulted on live TV, and not even like playfully insulted, just called average at best. Your wife going out there on TV in front of the whole world, in front of God and anime, and just say like, "Yeah, my husband's not beautiful, so I don't like to post about him." That's extremely hurtful. Anyway, the point of me showing you this is that in light of these pictures and the story, which we're going to get a little more into the story, it feels believable that she would be unfaithful to her husband because she's made a habit out of publicly belittling him, insulting him, and just point blank saying that she doesn't find him beautiful. It's not like she ever like went back on that, like, "No, actually my husband is beautiful." She's like, "No, look, he's average. But I'm average too. We're average together. We're both average in this together. But if he was beautiful, I'd be posting about him a lot. So, like, it's all good. Like, it's all fine. Now, in light of this story blowing up, there has been a statement from the Athletic executive editor Steven Ginsburg saying that the photos are misleading and lack essential context. These were public interactions in front of many people. Diana is a premier journalist covering the NFL, and we're proud to have her at the Athletic. Rossini said in her own statement that many reporters in her field interact with sources outside of stadium and work venues, and the photos don't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day. So basically they're claiming that there were more people there and this is all just professional. This is something normal that, you know, people in her field interact with sources outside of the stadium, which is very true. That does happen a lot. Sometimes you'll even see them like go hang out at a bar or go out to dinner or something. And that is professional. It's also very different than going to a luxury hotel and holding hands with your source, hugging your source, that kind of thing. Like, that's very different, and they're claiming that there was a group of 6 people with them, but none of the alleged eyewitnesses corroborate that theory, that game theory. According to 3 other eyewitnesses, they told Page 6 that they didn't see Vrabel or Rossini with a group of friends or anything. They said, no, he was with a girl. And the sequence of photographs taken at various points during the day show only the 2 of them. Now, according to a source close to Diana, she was staying at the hotel during a hiking trip with 2 female friends, and Vrabel told Page 6 that they and the coach drove up for the day with another pal and then all drove back to their own hotel some 2 hours away after hanging out. But then, I guess, Diana and Vrabel were just still left alone there at the hotel after their friends all came through and partied and enjoyed their time together. Like, I guess that's the story. Probably worth mentioning that that hotel they stay at, the Ambiente, prides itself on being a romantic getaway, boasting on its website about the 158 proposals that took place in the thousands of anniversaries and honeymoons that have been celebrated at that hotel. Like, that seems to be its main shtick. That's the big thing about this location. So it is a little peculiar that this was the hotel where everyone decided, let's go party at the Ambiente together, and then we're all going to leave except for Mike and Diana. You guys can hang out here. We're going to all drive 2 hours back to the other hotel. It's perplexing. It is a very interesting explanation here. Now, personally, even if that is true, I still think them holding hands and hugging and shit is not for the sake of the story and trying to get information out of her source or anything. That goes way above and beyond the Call of Duty there. That is not something reporters, I believe, typically choose to do. It just doesn't really check out. So personally, I'm of the belief that this is scandalous, especially due to Diana's very open book policy on dunking on her husband. It feels like this is something that is very out of line. I don't think this is something that should be happening between a reporter and their source. If this is actually normal, it shouldn't be, because this does feel like it's a romantic getaway between the 2 of them. I do believe that that's what's happening here. I don't really buy the argument that this is all just normal reporting. I just don't. But I'll go ahead and show you a perspective from someone who does believe that, another big player in this field.
I don't think we really knew what was going on. Like, that's the first thing. We actually don't know. It's a bunch of still photos. We don't know. And people nowadays jump to conclusions so quickly, myself included. First minute I saw it, I was like, oh, what is she doing, blah, blah. And then I'm like, I don't actually know what was going on. And I talked to a friend of mine, a woman reporter who has been in journalism for a long time, and she's like, I don't want to jump to conclusions either, but it's definitely not smart of her to be in a hot tub at the same time as an NFL coach, so she's covering.
He keeps mentioning the hot tub photos and that it was a bad judgment call to do that. And he's right, that is a bad judgment call to do that, but he also neglects to talk about, like, the much more romantic photos between the 2 of them, which is the hand holding and the hugging and, like, longingly gazing out at the open scenery out there, that kind of thing, where it looks like they are a couple. So he is focused on, like, the hot tub ones and trying to come up with, like, explanations for how that could be normal for reporting, and I just don't subscribe to that idea at all. He just keeps saying that it wasn't a good idea optics-wise, as opposed to, like, believing something scandalous unfolded.
And I don't disagree. I also think there's a huge double standard. Like, if I were doing a story about Mike Vrabel, let's just say I was assigned a piece by The Athletic, and he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna, why don't you hang out with me at the pool today? You can interview me then. And I'm like, great. I hang out with him for the day on the pool. And at one point he's like, oh, my back stiffens up. I'm gonna go in the hot tub. You wanna go in the hot tub? And I'll be like, yeah, I have a bad back, sure. Like, nobody would be like, reporter Jeff Pearlman has cozy relationship with Mike Vrabel. It is a woman thing. And it is unfair, but a reality for women reporters that they really have to be, it's unfair, but cautious.
That example completely falls apart, though, when you look at the other photos of them together. Jeff, if there were photos of you and Vrabel hanging out by the pool, fucking drinking brewskis, giggling, whatever, and then going into the hot tub, just hanging out, posting up just two bros being dudes, that's one thing. And you're right, no one's gonna be like, Mike and Jeff here are canoodling. But if there are then also photos of the two of you holding hands and maybe you nuzzling your head onto his chest as he's embracing you tightly with a big hug, like in the photos of him and Diana, then there definitely would be people that are saying, you have a very cozy relationship with Mike. This feels as though it is something more romantic as opposed to professional. 1000%, Jeff. That would absolutely happen. Because there's no way of explaining why you'd be holding hands and hugging each other. What? Did Mike's hands start cramping up so you were massaging them? Is that why they were holding hands? His hands just, they were cold, so it needed some body heat? Or what about like the big hug? Was this like an action shot and Mike had stumbled over, he slipped on a banana peel and was falling, so then he grabbed on to Diana and the two just ended up like hugging in order to balance out Mike? I doubt it. There's no real explanation for that other than just being cozy, Jeff.
When writing about, in particular, men. And like, if I was doing a Sean McVay profile and Sean McVay was like, why don't we just meet and we'll just go out to dinner and grab a bite? I wouldn't even think twice. I'd be like, sure. But if a woman reporter is seen with Mike Vrabel out at a restaurant, you could easily see, page 6, photos of Mike Vrabel with this reporter. Is this an affair? What is this?
I don't really think that example works all that well because reporters going out to dinner with the person they're interviewing is already normalized for both men and women. And yes, there definitely will be some people that make the assumption like, oh, this celebrity was with this reporter at dinner by candlelight, they must be dating, this must be some kind of, big nefarious affair. But that's a much bigger assumption to make. Like, that one is more of a leap because that is something that does actively happen often with both men and women reporters. What doesn't happen often is what we're seeing here with Diana and Mike, with the holding hands, hugging, that kind of thing, at a resort known for like honeymoons and getaways and proposals and stuff like that. A romantic resort getaway where it is only the two of them that are seen. The other people, there's no evidence that they were actually there, at least not from everything that's available at this moment, other than people claiming that they were there, like the individuals claiming that they were there. None of the eyewitnesses note that there was anyone besides the two of them. That is much different than just going to dinner with your source.
So it's just such a painful double standard. Another thing is she has a very long, high-quality reputation. And I'm just not willing to jump in there was something nefarious going on here. They're having an affair, they're having a scandal, blah, blah, blah. I'm just not there. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not taking a bunch of photos and doing what we do in 2026, jumping all over it. If there was video, I guess maybe, if one of them admitted it, if that spouse, blah, blah, blah. I just don't know. Now, all that being said, is it smart of her to go in a hot tub with an NFL coach? I know it's unfair, but no.
Again, he is so fixated on just the hot tub photo. I don't know if that's all he saw is like the pool and hot tub photo and he didn't see the others. I really don't know, but that's not like the most telling one, I would argue. Again, it's very possible they're not having an affair, but this behavior is certainly not professional, and it is very weird to be acting this way with your source. Anyway, I'm sure there will be additional information on the relationship between these two, and I'm gonna keep paying attention to it because Actually pretty interested to see how it all unfolds here. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're taking a look... Well, first of all, Mason, before I tell you what we're taking a look at...
I already know.
Yeah, but before you figure out what we're doing...
I've guessed.
Okay.
Every week I guess. I don't watch the thing, I just guess, and then I do jokes based on my memory of it, which might be nothing.
Potentially. Aliens are bigger than ever. There's UFO cover-ups.
Aliens are bigger than ever.
Spielberg's making another Alien movie. You know that's a big deal.
Aliens are not bigger than Independence Day. 1990 whatever. 94, 5? When did that come out? 6? I don't know.
I think aliens are bigger than that. So I thought, let's take a look at the original Alien in...
Independence Day. 1990 whatever. 94, 5? When did that come out? 6? I don't know.
I think aliens are bigger than that. So I thought, let's take...
4, 5? When did that come out? 6? I don't know.
I think aliens are bigger than that. So I thought, let's take a look at the original alien invasion story in 3 different...
Dimensions.
No. Well, this one was nearly a 3 dimensions one. This one we're looking at.
I knew it based on my guesswork.
Over 3 different time periods.
Oh, yes.
We're going to do a War of the Worlds trilogy.
War of the Willogy?
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
So please leave a like for the War of the Worlds from 1953.
I think remove the. It's cleaner.
Do you think so?
Yes.
Well, they didn't. They've done it, haven't they?
Yeah, it is too late for me to recommend that, really.
Now, at this point, you'd probably know this. Yeah, what was War of the Worlds famous for at this point? Before this movie.
Oh, before this, it was the Orson Welles radio
No, it was
production.
the book, actually. The book first,
It wasn't
Mason.
the book. Shut up. You've never read a book. You always say you're going to read a book for this. Oh, I'm going to read a book. This is what you say, and then you don't.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. But after the book, yuck, there was the radio play, which told people right up top, they're like, right up the top, first of all, like and subscribe. It's me, Orson Welles. Hit that bell notification on your radio so you get more of these. But just to be clear, this is a fake thing.
Yeah.
This isn't a real alien invasion. This is a play. This is a radio play. But then a lot of people, I guess, didn't tune in.
Yeah.
Because they were right
busy.
at the start. They were busy.
They were down the coal mines.
Probably down the
Playing, by the way, not even working, just mucking around.
Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a bit of a kerfuffle in real life.
That's it. So, yeah, it spooked some people for real. Though I think stories of that have been exaggerated.
For sure.
Most people were just like, yeah, this is a story. This is based on that book, that famous book. It's even more famous than this Orson Welles version.
Come on.
That's what they were saying to each other.
Yes. Maybe the reports of people, freaking out in the streets.
Yeah.
The old-timey equivalent of that time that big fan of Rick and Morty stood on the counter of that fast food restaurant. Screaming and jumping up and down because they didn't have his...
Abrir la puerta porque me dio calor. Así ya, ya estoy bien. Me parezco ahorita. Voy a comer el pantalón también, está muy caluroso. Más, ¿dónde dejé el pantalón? On the fence. Número 1.
Szechuan sauce.
But look,
like in the future, people are going to be like, everybody in the 21st century was jumping up and down because they didn't get their Szechuan sauce. Everybody was.
We should have been.
We should have been, absolutely. Yeah. We should have been in the streets. But it was just that guy.
It was just that guy, yeah. So yeah, after the success of that in 1938, there was a push to make this into a movie.
I think that when Orson Welles moved to the movies, they're like, you should do the War of the Worlds.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's like, I'd rather make some of the greatest movies ever made. Do your War of the Worlds crap later, honestly.
And then I want to be a big robot planet.
That's right. I want to die being a big robot planet. I want my last words on screen to be,
Great storyteller, not just in film, but also just in interviews. Just look up old interviews of Orson Welles. God.
Well, you've been quoted as saying, we live here in Hollywood in a snake pit. Oh, yes. Well, I've always hated Hollywood, but I hate almost everything in the modern world. You've been quoted as saying, I really shouldn't have stayed in this business because it's too ridiculous. I shouldn't have.
So apparently, one of the people who wanted to do this was Frank Wells, who was son of H.G. Wells, who wrote the original novel, more famous. Ray Harryhausen also wanted to take it on. He even built a 3-legged model. He did an animation test, which you might have seen, a stop-motion alien coming out of the hole. He wanted to make it a period piece.
Yep.
Because this one famously, I guess, it's set in the era it came out.
The now.
They modernized it. Yeah. They went to Alfred Hitchcock for it. He didn't want to do it. He was Cecil B. DeMille's personal choice.
Nice.
So it ended up going to Byron Haskins.
Some guy.
But he did a hell of a job, let me tell you that. I think... So Orson Welles also... Not Orson. Fuck, there's too many old people's fucking names in this, Mason. Gotta remember all these dead men.
I know, right? I'd rather we forgot all the dead men.
H.G. Wells believed that it was too late to adapt this, and then you couldn't make a modernized version of it, that it was very much of its time.
Oh, he's never been more wrong, this guy. H.G. Wells, a man famous for being wrong. Wrong, over and over again. Oh, I bet you could build a time machine to go the 1 million billion trillion. Well, you can't, H.G.
The first time I watched this was... I think it was around the time that Independence Day came out.
Okay, sure.
So like, well, that movie's obviously heavily inspired by this. Why not watch the original, the source material, as it were?
Would you get it, VHS?
It was just on TV.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And it was, look, if I'm honest, as a kid watching this, I was like, that's pretty underwhelming. Mostly in terms of an ending, which we'll talk about, but there is some spectacular stuff in this.
A real Channel 7 or 9 movie.
Definitely, yeah. So the opening of this is a fun little, I don't want to say animation because it's not animated, is it really? It's basically a justification for why the creatures of Mars want to invade Earth. So they go through each planet and be like, well, not that one because of this reason, or not this one because
this one would make my porridge too cold, and this one would make my porridge too hot. I have 2 notes from the start of the movie. One says, look at this MASH logo-ass font. Which I don't think suits the tone of the movie at all. Terrible.
Well, MASH...
I know.
This was pre-MASH.
I know.
This was Prash, Mason.
I know it is, but it looks weird in a movie from the 50s. Very strange. I didn't like it. It should be some sort of cursive font.
Yeah, but they modernized it.
Yeah, I don't like it. And then my second note just says the narrator giving the game away immediately.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I don't like that. I don't like it when it's like, this movie's going to be... I mean, we know, obviously, and I'm sure everybody in this era was aware of what War of the Worlds was. They probably all read the book because they had nothing else going on. But... I don't think you should go into this being like, there's Martians and they want to go to a different planet.
Some planets are hot.
Some planets are hot and some are cold, but
some are too soft.
Anyway, they're going to invade Earth. Well, then where's the tension of the first 20 minutes of this movie? Like, what?
Yeah, because you're not...
what do we reckon to the meteor? What do we reckon to the meteor?
I didn't know what was in the meteor until the meteor opened up and a guy came out of it. I didn't know.
Interesting.
Even though they did mention it up top, I'd just forgotten, Mason. I'd forgotten. No, I didn't at all. Apparently, they didn't include Venus at the time because in the 50s, apparently, it was still believed that it could be a hospitable planet. So they're like, well, we'll just exclude that because the aliens would have gone there, wouldn't they?
Oh, I see, right.
I don't know whether that's just 1950s pseudoscience. You know, just crackpot shit. Just from that era.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah. I love when the meteor crashes and there's just a dude being like, I'm going to slap it with a shovel. Come on, man. What are you doing for one? And then there's a moment where they use like a radioactive detecting device.
A Geiger
counter. I call it a HRG counter.
Yeah.
It's different, obviously.
What is it for detecting?
Things that look like dicks.
I was going to say, there it is. Oh, nothing detected.
Don't point that at me.
Nothing detected.
I love also, they're like, oh, this is highly radioactive. Should we move everyone? Nah, probably not.
Yeah. Everybody's already down there anyway. Don't worry about it. The meteor crash lands and the local authorities are like, there's some scientists fishing over there. Let's get them to look at it. I like this guy from the local constabulary shows up and his character trait is he's just a moocher. Like, they're like, do you want to eat with us? And he's like, I will. You got a cigarette? I'll smoke it later. This guy? Does this come up later? No, of course not. You would think that his mooching would save the day at the end.
Yeah.
You'd think that the various characteristics of the characters in this movie would come together and save the day at the end. But they don't.
I guess you could think at any point that something relevant would be put in this movie that would then save the day later.
Right.
But famously, that is not the case.
No.
Yeah.
And of course we got a main scientist guy.
Oh yeah.
And
Gene Barry.
We got a bunch of military men and policemen and so on and so forth.
Stand back.
And you might be like, oh, not movie from the 1950s. There's no women in it. Well, there is a woman in it.
Yeah, man.
And she's got a master's degree and she doesn't do anything.
Well, she does.
Which is what we like.
She does a lot of hysterical woman work,
That's
which is
true.
basically screaming and then being shook.
Yeah.
And then being calmed down by a handsome man.
Just in time to be...
with a firm demeanour.
Just in time to start screaming again, yeah.
Exactly. So Gene Barry and Anne Robinson are the stars of this. Gene Barry later admitted that acting in this film was quite trying because obviously anything that he was looking at wasn't really there, and you got to blindly react to like, oh no, what's that? Help! No, that's not him. He didn't do that, did he? He was calming everybody down.
That's right.
Until at the end when he just runs around a bunch.
Sure.
Remember at the end when he ran around a bunch?
Of course I do. That was the
Yeah.
highlight of the movie. That was the main action sequence of the movie. Gene Barry runs around a lot. Anne Robinson...
Still alive, by the way.
Yeah, 96 years old.
Amazing.
She's 96, you know. She's in the 2005 remake.
Yes.
But she's also in the 1988
There's a
sequel TV
yeah.
series to this, where the aliens weren't dead all along.
No, they were alive all the time, weren't they? Yeah. I mean, it's also got classic... I guess you call it Prometheus-ing, you'd call it now. But, you know, the meteor opens up and, like, a metal snake comes out, and guys are like, what's this? I reckon we'd be famous and we'd be in a newspaper if we went and talked to this metal snake.
We could cut out a clipping from the newspaper and put it on our wall, and our grandkids would be like, what did you do when you were young, grandfather?
Talk to a metal snake.
Talk to a metal snake? They put it in the paper.
It didn't even vaporize me or anything.
That's right.
Except it does.
Hubris!
Yeah. It's an interesting choice by the priest as well to be like, I believe these beings are like us, and I think God's on our side and on their side, and I'm going to walk into this and just see what's going to happen. I'm going to make peace. I'm going to hold a symbol of a certain religion from this very specific planet, and they're just like fucking lasered, man. Just a massacre.
The guys that are like, let's wave a white flag. Everybody knows white flag means friends vaporized.
Yeah.
Come on, man. What are you thinking?
They don't speak English yet, but they might do sign language. Why do you think that? What makes you think that they could do that? There's dudes on fire. There's
tell you
vehicles
what.
getting incinerated.
I must admit the Martian ship designs, really good.
Amazing.
Incredible for this era.
Yeah. They're big miniatures too.
Oh, bigitures.
Exactly. Al Nuzaki made these, and originally he was going to do because they're tripods in the books and in other adaptations.
But in this, they are technically tripods. But
They are, that's
They've got
right.
invisible magnetic legs.
Exactly, and you sort of see them at one point, and that was supposed
I
to
saw
be-
them all the time.
Okay, we saw them all the time. You're not supposed to.
Well, I'm just good at that.
Yeah, something's going on.
No, I can see them.
Yeah, but it was like one of the reasons I saw on IMDb was like, well, apparently the US military would have no problems if they were tripods. They'd have no problem defeating them. So they're like, well, what if we make them ships? But really, the answer was it was cheaper because otherwise you've got to animate legs.
You gotta animate
There's
legs,
a whole, Otherwise, you know, holding things up with wires easy.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it. Do
That's
it right now in your own backyard. You know?
We're both on a flying fox right now.
We certainly are.
Whee!
I love the force field effect, which was just filming a glass dome on black and then superimposing it.
And
It's
the
really
heat ray effect is really good.
This is good stuff.
It is
man.
good stuff. And like you said, just men on fire, men turning
Falling
to
off
ash,
things.
all the miniature work, all the buildings exploding.
Really good
Really
stuff.
good.
The nuke is fun.
Nukes are fun.
Yeah, that mushroom cloud was done with a metal drum filled with explosive and detonated. And then it blew powder like 75 feet in the air. They filmed that and superimposed it
I think
on.
that was a cocaine bomb.
Well, it probably
They were
was,
experimenting with those in the 50s. They were like, okay, what if we drop this on the aliens and then they get so focused on building an app
and starting a band
that they don't want to kill us anymore.
Yeah, it's not the worst idea. But there is like this, you know, the futility of just attacking them again and again, and they just... There's no reaction. They just keep moving forward and just decimating the Earth.
And as one general says, we know now that we can't beat their machines. We've got to beat them. Mm-hmm. All right, off you go. give it a whirl.
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
any more specific
You got any ideas?
Yeah.
Or- well, no, I'm the Army's ideas guy. All the doing stuff guys got blown up by the heat ray thing and then zapped into ash or whatever. I'm just the guy who comes up with an idea.
The alien design is pretty good too. And what I like is aside from the fact it's got arms, it's not human-like. It's also the first time you
I think it's a step down from the ships, honestly.
Yeah, probably. But also I want you to remember this, Mason.
Yes.
This is the first man in a monster suit movie.
Oh.
And I think The Day the Earth Stood Still came out before this, but that's like a robot. This was this creature, which it was a year before the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
Charlie Gamora, this is how he's described. He's an all-time great makeup artist and also one of the best gorilla men.
Of course.
That was his work.
He had to be a good gorilla man back in the 50s.
Dude, there's a YouTube video. Everyone should check it out. It's called Charlie Gamora Goes Ape.
Nice.
It's just a retrospective about this dude who just did like great creature work.
That's money in the bank in the 50s if you were a good gorilla man.
Definitely. But again, it was Al Nozaki and his daughter who designed the alien and then redesigned it the night before it needed to be used to make it smaller. Charlie's just hanging out the back of that suit. Like, it barely worked. It's got wires in it. It's all gooey. And
this barely works and there's wires all over it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out the night before. It's fine.
But all of that, I think, it's so terrific because it does have this kind of pulsing energy to it. Because I feel like a lot of these movies, these alien and monster movies, they maybe didn't bother to put in this kind of effort or this level of creature design after this. These became kind of schlocky kind of things,
That's
you know?
true.
But this early one, this one of the first ones, is just really incredible. And like you said, the miniature work is amazing. The replica of LA, like these are huge models that they exploded with the ships going through. The riots in the streets are great. There's a moment where two guys pick up a guy and throw him through a window.
Hell yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
They've cleared out city streets.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Agreed.
And again, the ending is just a guy running around LA and then going to a church.
Sure.
That's the ending.
You've forgotten there's a hysterical woman on.
Oh, sorry. She's in the church, even though she's a woman of science. At the end, she's just like, I don't know, I'll go to a church, I guess.
Me being a woman of science was a mistake.
Everybody said it.
Yep.
And everybody was right.
I was too willful, and I admit that I'm wrong now.
But yeah, what I love about the ending of this, I don't know, that's a strong word.
If they're mortal, they must have mortal weaknesses. Well, what if they're not? What if they're not mortal? You think about that?
Yeah.
You seen them?
Yeah.
They're in a flying thing?
Well, one
had like 3 limbs and that.
One had blood or whatever, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Threw a thing at it and it went,
Yeah.
But yeah, ultimately, every counter-attack, every voice of reason, whether it be a priest or a man with a shovel, or every nuclear weapon that they dropped.
Those 2 men that throw that other man through a window.
That's right. Maybe that was what did it.
Yeah.
You just wait, and then they just get all sick and they fall out of their machines.
It's the absolute prime example of a movie where the actions of the protagonist don't actually do anything.
Ooh.
We often talk about, some of the Indiana Jones movies. If he just wasn't there,
yeah,
it wouldn't really
matter. And I don't think that's strictly true. We've done videos on them. We've probably talked about it.
Yeah,
He Temple of Doomed all those guys.
He did Temple of Doom the guys.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just germs and maybe God, I guess. Like, is that the message?
I think
Because they
so.
stop at the church, right?
Yeah, but this is interesting because this has sort of been a recurring feature of a bunch of War of the Worlds adaptations, and it takes out the agency of man. And I think the one thing that Independence Day, which is essentially a remake of this, does better is they go, we will build our own virus. Computer virus.
Absolutely,
Computer virus, that's the modern type of virus. You know?
Yeah.
And they got to get it in there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the other movies because they each have a little twist on where the aliens come from and how you defeat them. Some of them use the internet.
Oh, hell yeah.
We'll get to that one. But yeah, in the meantime, we have to do Trivia of the Worlds.
Oh, yes.
This is where we talk about trivia from the show, and we both bought trivia. What's your trivia?
That font at the start, man, that's a mashup logo-ass font. I'll tell you that much.
I believe you.
Yeah.
Lee Marvin was offered the lead role.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a war movie guy, isn't he? And a real war veteran, actually.
Oh, I do have a note here. We said that Anne Robinson doesn't really do anything except run around screaming. She does also walk around with a tray of coffee and donuts. So
that's nice, isn't it?
It's nice, isn't it?
Something to do.
Something to do, really.
I feel like they made her do that on set. I feel like
it does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can get the coffee and donuts. It's 1952, which is when we filmed this, probably.
Australia mentioned?
Yes!
Sydney mentioned.
Hell
Boo.
yeah. Oh, yeah, boo, sorry. Boo, fuck off. Always Sydney.
Yeah, right?
Why can't we destroy Flinders Street Station?
Right? Why can't they destroy Federation Square? You seen that thing? You seen that friggin'
hideous
thing? Boo.
Why can't they shoot all the tram drivers? That's all I'm saying.
Why not?
Teach them a lesson.
All right.
Yeah, I just think as a form of transport, we already have buses and trains. Do we need trams? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Seems that's all you're saying, yeah.
So filming was halted briefly for 2 days when Paramount discovered... Oh, remember when Paramount was an actual company?
Oh, that made film products?
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. They discovered that they only had the rights to the silent version of this, and that was resolved with the permission of H.G. Wells' estate. Silent version.
Silent version?
Yeah. Is that just reading the book to yourself in your mind? What are you talking about?
Is that because somebody purchased the rights to the radio play and the only other option available was silent video?
The estate of H.G. Wells was so pleased with the final production.
We're so pleased.
That they offered George Pal, the producer on this.
Hello, George. It's us, the estate of H.G. Wells.
His choice of other...
We're very pleased. It's brought us great pleasure.
Oh, no. I don't like that. They said, what else do you want to do? Pick another property that we've done. And he went with The Time Machine.
Oh.
Not Guy Pearce's The Time Machine, which is an incredible movie.
Agreed.
We all agree. And what's really sad, this is sad, but also very of the era, none of the original Martian war machines exist today. They were made out of copper, and after the production, they were donated to the Boy Scout Copper Drive. Unbelievable.
Copper drive.
Copper's expensive.
I know it.
I know to you it's nothing. You have so much copper, it's ridiculous.
That's
You're wrapped in copper right now.
They call me the Copper King. So that would have been sold off to somebody and it's just...
given away,
it's
basically.
just in people's walls now, I guess.
Totally. That's a real shame because they're a beautiful design and they're intricate electronics and all
Probably
of
3D print them now, though.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Who cares now?
Who cares?
They recreated them for the 80s show. Now, the box office for this on a budget of $2 million.
Which is how much now? Let's look that up.
Let's do math live.
$24 million.
That's very cheap.
That's cheap.
Yeah, that's probably more expensive than the most recent one, though.
Fuck! Also, you've got to factor in Hollywood accounting and Hollywood skimming off the top.
They didn't pay anybody.
There was probably not as much skimming off the top, although I imagine a lot of people took a lot of that donuts and coffee home. So.
Absolutely. So 600,000 of the dollars went to the live action scenes, while 1.4 million was the special effects. In terms of return, there's no hard numbers on this. The only thing was like, it made $2 million in VHS rentals, and it's like, I don't know what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
So, you know, it just did really well. It was a hit at the time. It's a classic for a reason. It often makes, you know, lists of the best sci-fi movies of all time, sometimes even the best movies of time. It's, again, you look at it now and you go, that's a mash-ass font.
I do, and I did, and I still do.
It's pretty incredible.
I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Could have been some stuff for the woman to do.
Sure.
Could have been an additional woman. I think there is an additional woman. There's a scientist. There is another scientist lady.
What?
She's looking through the microscope. She's like, look at these little...
Oh, yeah.
Look
at these microbiomes, or look at this blood or whatever.
Exactly.
Does she actually...
Thanks for that, doctor. Now go make the tea.
Doesn't she, like... She's like, they're kind of Earth-like or whatever. So she kind of hints that, like... There's a hint that they might just die for no reason.
Correct, yes.
Also, they didn't die for no reason because in the sequel, they're just like, they didn't die for no reason. They just fell asleep for a while.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, and they woke up because of the 80s because they heard the music.
Yes.
Yes, good. Anyways, do you know these videos?
I know these videos.
Do you know they come out early at bigsandwich.co?
I know what about those videos.
Yeah, not only that, we also do video game Let's Plays, we do bonus podcasts, we do movie commentaries.
That's right.
From the time of our goddamn life.
Have we done an Independence Day commentary?
We actually have, yes. You
Terrific.
can check that out. Also, we have a podcast that's called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. We always talk the big movie of the week, don't we?
Big movie.
And then the movie news.
Big movie news.
Yeah, and thank you so much to Ben and Lawrence for the edit.
Thank you, Ben and Lawrence.
We'll see you next week for 2005 Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
I think that movie's okay.
I think it's okay too. People getting vaporized up top, man. I like all that. Dusty.
But who's doing it?
We'll have to find out. Thanks, everyone.
Go to Rab Jam, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
I don't know you, but I know enough to guess with a high level of confidence that you've been angry before. Unless I got the Dalai Lama watching or something, I bet there have been moments in your life where you've been fuming, extremely angry. It's natural, it's normal. I mean, Jiminy Christmas, earlier today, I was angry. I was driving and a spider went across my windshield, and it was a rather large spider. This puppy was set to Wumbo, and I don't have arachnophobia or anything, but I don't like them, and I certainly don't like them on my windshield. So, I pulled over, and in my cup holder had a receipt So I thought that'll be good enough. I'll just blast it with the receipt. And as I go to do that, it hits me with like a running back move. It hits me with like a double sidestep and then jumps on my arm. Then I fucking freak out and start like slapping my arm and screaming like a maniac, and I can't find the spider anymore. That makes me frown. It makes me angry. I'm sure there's plenty of things that have made you angry. But have you ever been so angry that you light a 1.2 million square foot warehouse on fire and will most likely spend many, many years behind bars for it and film the whole thing for Instagram? Probably not, I would say. Most likely no. But I did just hear of someone who did. And it is a fascinating story because the anger makes sense. Like the reason why this employee was angry, I think a lot of people can understand. But drastic measures like this did nothing except ruin his life.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
This is a Kimberly-Clark warehouse that apparently served 50 million people. It was located in California, and a disgruntled 29-year-old employee filmed these videos, posted them on Instagram of him lighting it on fire, and it completely fucking torched it. It like incinerated this whole facility. Pretty fucking stupid plan. Extremely dangerous. Could have easily killed people in the warehouse. The fire could have spread outside of the warehouse as well. It's California. California fires, like, that spreads a lot. This could have caused so much more damage, destruction, and death in this like raging inferno that he created here.
Again, thankfully, nobody was injured in that fire. No firefighters or none of the employees. They were all evacuated safely.
So, Nick, we should know you were just listening in on that news conference. That's why we couldn't go right to you. So this employee, a 29-year-old, did they say what he did there at that plant?
It's unclear exactly what he did. What we know is that they house lots of Kimberly-Clark products here. Again, this is a 1.2 million square foot warehouse here, so a very large space filled with products. We know that they load the trucks up and distribute them. We don't know specifically what that man did.
I feel like we have some strong evidence to what that man did. He filmed it himself. I'm surprised it wasn't streamed on Kick. Like, this has become a very common phenomenon where people film or stream themselves committing crimes, in this case, arson. So he made it very clear what he was doing and why, the motive. He was upset with the pay, saying that all they had to do was pay him enough to fucking live, which is a very real problem, something I have yapped about for years, about how so many jobs right now in the country don't actually pay their employees a livable wage. And as things keep getting more and more expensive, it's not like the pay is being risen to try and help them, enable them to live. It is a huge problem. But the solution this guy cooked up in his noodle is not the optimal play, because now all he's going to do is land himself in jail. He's not going to be getting paid there. And on top of that, all of the workers at that warehouse, they are now out of work for who knows how long, and maybe they get canned because of it. I mean, this is a huge warehouse. This is going to take a long time to rebuild and get all that inventory and stuff back. Maybe they just start laying off employees that were working there. So now he has also ruined other people's income on top of that. So it's not exactly like the best plan that he's cooked up here, as shocking as that is to hear that arson didn't save the day. It is an issue. His anger is understandable, but this didn't do anything to solve it. It's not like that this company is all of a sudden going to have a come to Jesus moment like, oh, we didn't know that by underpaying our employees, it would make them frustrated. But now that an entire 1.2 million square foot warehouse has been burnt down because of our folly, we will change our ways. We now see the light. Our third eye is open. Enlightenment. Time to raise everyone's pay. It's just not going to happen.
Do is pay us enough to live.
Chilling video posted online by the suspect appears to show the moment a massive warehouse fire was deliberately set.
All you had to do was pay us enough to live.
Investigators say the man behind the camera is 29-year-old Shamel Abdul Kareem.
He was believed to be an employee of Kimberly-Clark. However, it is confirmed that he is an employee of NFI Industries, the third-party distributor of Kimberly-Clark.
Officials say he had posted grievances online before igniting the Ontario, California warehouse on fire.
Now, I've actually seen people applauding this, saying that they need to start a GoFundMe ASAP so that way they can donate to him because he's a hero. He's standing up to capitalism. Finally, enough is enough. We need more of this across the country. That's fucking ridiculous. That's like actual dangerous, stupid brain. Like, people are saying, oh, wah, 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 crying over all this lost product from, you know, billion-dollar corporation, that kind of thing. That's, I don't know how people can be so, like, out of tune with reality. It's not even about, like, lost products or anything. It's about how easily people could have died in that, how it could have spread way beyond just that warehouse, and how this doesn't even really affect the company all that much. They have insurance. You know who this actually affects? Is the employees that are most likely going to be out of work here while this facility is out of commission and under maintenance, so they're going to be out income, and he just threw his whole life away for this, and it's not going to do anything to actually help people get a livable wage from this company or anything like that. It's just reckless, dangerous, jeopardizing tons of people's lives and safety and the area around him. This could have caused a huge fucking problem. Like I said, it's California. Wildfires spread wider than Kash Patel's butt cheeks. Like, in that area, this could have easily spiraled way out of control, way beyond just that warehouse as well. Like, this is just not something anyone should be like. Anyway, there is something other people have pointed out as like a very surprising element to the fire itself, that a warehouse of this size housing this much supply, apparently this accounts for like 3% of West Coast volume for toilet paper in particular, from what I was reading. I don't know if that's like confirmed or how true that is, but it is a huge facility that houses a lot of paper product. And one thing people were noting is that the fire suppression system didn't really do a whole lot to stop this. And I was doing a bit of digging because they definitely have a fire suppression system. I don't know if they like maintain it, like maybe it was malfunctioning. From what I read, it apparently was working, but because he started multiple fires in multiple locations, it just wasn't effective at stopping the spread. So that's how it was able to get so out of control. And also, apparently the alarms were working because they were able to get the employees out. So I do feel like the systems were functioning how they were supposed to. It's just must have started a lot of fires that overwhelmed whatever system they have there, or maybe they just don't have the best system there. I couldn't tell you, but I saw this earlier, earlier today, and I just had to yap about it. It was fucking crazy to see. And the fact that he filmed all of it, gathered his own evidence against himself, and freely posted online, has become so common now. People love to film their own crimes, and this is probably like the biggest display of that I've seen so far. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.
Ay, mi codito.
Wow. I don't even know how to appropriately express my shock for what just unfolded here. Best I can do is one of these. Like a Mr. Beast thumbnail. Melania Trump, from out of nowhere, just delivered a speech going over Epstein. The whole thing was more surprising than when people learned Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. And even more surprising for me, because I only recently learned that Melania can speak. I hadn't heard a peep from her in many years. I just assumed she had taken like a vow of silence or something, and that Trump just speaks for her. I only learned that she talks after the trailers for the Melania documentary, which, by the way, is directed by Brett Ratner, who was also present in the Epstein files with some not good photos out there of him. Interesting choice to direct her movie. A big part of this press conference was about how it's a bunch of lies that she was like a close associate of Epstein or like a victim of Epstein, and that it was only ever casual correspondence with Maxwell/Epstein, and that the email that recently came out, you know, it's misleading. It's not actually indicative of like a personal connection there. So she tries to defend that and shoot all of that down, and then she also says some things that are directly contradictory to Donald Trump and the entire administration's stance on the Epstein files.
Now is the time for Congress to act. Epstein was not alone.
Those words alone just had Kash Patel shoot up out of his bed in cold sweats, awaken abruptly from his slumber, tinkling his britches, and he's going to need to calm down by butt-chugging some brewskis, because Perjury Patel has maintained that Epstein, there's no credible evidence that Epstein trafficked minors to anyone. The only person is Epstein and Maxwell. That's it. There's no other clients or anything. But here, the First Lady is saying Congress needs to act and that Epstein wasn't alone. This flies in the face of the official stance of the administration and Donald Trump himself, where they talk about how justice has been served, so get over it. Even Todd Blanche is not even shy about it. Not a crime to party with Epstein. Probably won't be doing any further investigations. Their official stance is that everything that would ever happen with the Epstein files has happened, and that the American people shouldn't care about it, and anyone that does care about it is a bad person. Also, the Epstein files aren't real. They're a Democrat hoax. Meanwhile, from out of nowhere, Melania Trump delivers this speech where she's talking about her relationship to Epstein and how, like, there's a bunch of lies about it and it's all not true, but also how important the Epstein files are and that action needs to be taken, which is very much flying in the face of her husband's perspective on it and the administration that has desperately tried to make people forget about it. This came out of nowhere. Melania Trump delivered this at a time where no one was talking about the Epstein files. The media had forgotten about it. The administration got hit by the Men in Black neuralizer, so they didn't even know who Epstein was. They forgot that name entirely. And then Melania Trump comes and does this.
I call on Congress to provide the women who have been victimized by Epstein with a public hearing specifically centered around the survivors. Give these victims their opportunity to testify under oath in front of Congress with the power of sworn testimony. Each and every woman should have her day to tell her story in public if she wishes, and then her testimony should be permanently entered into the congressional record. Then, and only then, we will have the truth. Thank you.
This had to be a huge jump scare to most people in the administration, because I don't think they signed off on that. And I read a couple reports that she went rogue and did this without like official approval through the channels of the Epstein administration and their attempts to cover it up at every possible angle imaginable. So if those reports are true, if that's accurate and she did this just willy-nilly, you know, on a whim, I bet the administration is fucking fuming over it. And now she calls for Congress to act, but Melania, get ready for the cold water. That call's coming from inside the house. You need look only in your bedside. Donald Trump is one of the main perpetrators of covering this shit up. His whole administration does everything in their power to bury it. So she is now mentioning the Epstein survivors directly, that's like Voldemort's name to this administration. They do not address the survivors, the victims of Epstein. So that was extremely surprising to hear her directly talk about it and how important it is to hear their testimony. I agree. We should be able to hear more from them and get more information about their experiences here and at least hear from them, which has been something this administration has been desperately trying to avoid, plugging their ears to it. I think she's right when it comes to that. Now, this wasn't the only thing she was addressing during this. The main thing is she was trying to set the record straight on her connection to Epstein and how they weren't close at all, and all of these lies that have been spread about her being an Epstein victim or a close associate and pal are just a bunch of hooey, it's all hogwash. Which, again, comes out of nowhere because I hadn't heard those claims come up in months. This has been something the mainstream media has been radio silent on, crickets. So this just came out of nowhere and once again puts it right in people's noodle, brings it, right up front and center, which is great. I mean, actually, it's really wonderful that she decided to start talking about Epstein again in this way, because now, once again, it will remind people of the blatant corruption and the evil, the heinous acts that are being covered up here from this administration. It really is so wild because this was not being discussed all that openly. I do know now, as a result of this, that some email has been shared about her emailing with Epstein and Maxwell or something to that effect, which is something she also talks about in this, so I'm guessing that was probably the catalyst that made her want to do this. But it was something that people weren't really talking about until she brought it up. It's like if I go into a crowded theater and I say, all right, everyone, listen up. I just want to make it clear I did not shit my pants. And I don't want anyone here to think that I did. All right, now that that's out of the way, carry on. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, we weren't even really thinking about that, but now that you've mentioned it, it makes us think that you might have doo-dooed. Did you poop your pants? What's bringing this up here?
The lies linking me with the disgraceful Jeffrey Epstein need to end today. The individuals lying about me are devoid of ethical standards, humility, and respect. I do not object to their ignorance, but rather I reject their mean-spirited attempts to defame my reputation. I never been friends with Epstein. Donald and I were invited to the same parties as Epstein from time to time, since overlapping in social circles is common in New York City and Palm Beach.
Just ignore the numerous photos of Melania with Trump and with Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell. I mean, they're right there at your fingertips, but don't look them up. Clearly, she didn't have a relationship, a friendly relationship with Epstein and Maxwell. She just photographed with them multiple times, that's all, I find it a little hard to believe that they weren't friends or close in some capacity. Jiminy Christmas, again, the director of her documentary that just came out is Brett Ratner, who is in the Epstein files. I imagine they probably met through Epstein. I mean, that's just a hunch. I don't know that for sure, but that's quite a coinky-dink, don't you think? I feel like she doesn't do a good job of, actually convincing people that there's no, connection between her and Epstein and Maxwell, that they weren't really friends, because it flies in the face of what your eyes can see. The photos, the emails that just came out. There's plenty of things to suggest they were friendly at the very least. Maybe she wasn't an Epstein victim per se, but it does seem like she was a pal to Maxwell and Epstein.
To be clear, I never had a relationship with Epstein or his accomplice, Maxwell. My email reply to Maxwell cannot be categorized as anything more than casual correspondence. My polite reply to her email doesn't amount to anything more than a trivial note. I am not Epstein's victim. Epstein did not introduce me to Donald Trump. I met my husband by chance at a New York City party in 1998. This initial encounter with my husband is documented in detail in my book, Melania.
Nice, big shout out for her book. That's huge. I'm surprised she also didn't make a mention of the documentary or her cryptocurrency Melania coin. This was a great opportunity for her to shout out the shitcoin. What the fuck? She missed a huge marketing opportunity, but at least she got to name drop the book, so everyone can go pick that puppy up. I know everyone's really biting at their nails, just salivating, waiting to get their hands on more Melania content, and luckily she addresses that while talking about Epstein. And I like how she uses that as evidence, like, nope, this can't be true about meeting Trump through Epstein, because if you read my book, I actually documented the first time we met. And you know you can't lie when writing a book. Like, it's 100% truthful. It's gotta be. It's a book. You can't make shit up there. Like, what the fuck? That's not evidence. I have no idea if she actually met Trump through Epstein or the parties there or whatever. I don't know. But it's not like this shuts anything down. Again, this only makes people think that there is a more deep connection here between Melania and Epstein than previously thought. Like, before, it was just rumors and, like, potential explanations and theories, but her coming forward once again just adds more fuel to that fire, because she doesn't actually really prove anything at all. She just once again reminds people of it. And I imagine a lot of people that were watching this didn't even know that Melania had so many photographs and stuff with Epstein and Maxwell, or had like the emails with Maxwell. Like, I bet this actually put it on people's radar. And like I said, this really did come out of nowhere, because it's not like Epstein was a huge topic at the moment. With everything else going on, pretty much no one was talking about Epstein until she brought it up here. Which, I mean, again, I think it's great that people are reminded of it, because it's a huge fucking problem. It is extremely important, and there is still no justice even being pursued by this administration, so I am glad to see more people talking about it again. I am just really shocked to see how this happened. I would have never predicted something like this to go down here. And like I said at the beginning, she does have like a whole like minute and a half worth at the end of her press conference here dedicated to talking about how important it is, and how Epstein wasn't working alone, and how there still needs to be justice, and that the survivors need to be heard. We need to get more information. That's huge, and that is correct. We do need that. So hopefully we can start moving in that direction. I mean, the First Lady has now just made a big press conference, and it was brought up here, and it is very different than the official administration stance. So what happens now, I wonder? I'm just very curious to see what comes next, because Donald Trump's wife has now just directly gone against what he says in regards to the Epstein files publicly. So I guess we'll see how it all shakes out. That's really about it. See ya.
In the last 5 or so years, there's been a massive proliferation of new trading card games. I'm thinking about this specifically now because the Cyberpunk TCG's Kickstarter recently came out and has crossed like a massive threshold already of like $15 million or something like that. And I think that obviously that's exciting for fans of Cyberpunk, but it is also potentially a little worrying if you're someone who's concerned about whether or not there's a TCG bubble. If you are a follower of kind of general TCG content on YouTube, you are likely aware of Distraction Makers. It's a podcast run by a couple of game designers. Really interesting. I recommend watching if you haven't, but they have an episode specifically about whether or not we are currently in a TCG bubble. And in that, they kind of explore the parallels between the late 90s, early 2000s landscape of trading card games and now. And there are a lot of similarities. Mostly you can look at the fact that both eras had a lot of new games coming out, and that they were largely driven by popular current IPs. And that's happening right now. Undeniably, you can see, right, if you look at the landscape of current TCGs, they are basically all driven by large AAA IPs. One Piece, Riftbound, Star Wars Unlimited, Lorcana, Digimon, Cyberpunk, Union Arena. All of these games are based off of something else. And there are more, too, obviously. I'm not even capturing everything. And that's also to say nothing of Magic the Gathering's Universes Beyond foray, right? Which is also looking to capitalize on existing IPs. And on top of all of that, there are also a ton of original IP games currently that are succeeding and certainly have players. There's games like Sorcery, Flesh and Blood. Ironically, the Cyberpunk Kickstarter launched shortly after, or maybe even concurrently with this other TCG, Neuroscape, which was a Cyberpunk-inspired TCG that successfully funded on Kickstarter, and they've gotten their product into some stores recently. Similarly, like Alestrals, another crowd-funded TCG that is fighting its way into stores in some areas. So there really are just a ton of games, and I wanted to talk today about what it's going to take for these various games to survive. Games do unfortunately die sometimes. Altered is an unfortunate casualty of this situation where, although the game is not technically out of print yet, they have reached a point where they are sunsetting the project, and they're looking to kind of gracefully sunset the project in a way where people who have really enjoyed the game can still play digitally, but there's not any work being done on new sets or anything like that, to my knowledge. They're releasing the sets they had digitally, and then the project is not going to continue. So it is an unfortunate reality, and if you go look at the list of historical TCGs, I mean, it's littered with a myriad of games that have been discontinued for one reason or another. Star Wars Destiny is another really current one that I could reference, right? Like, a lot of people think Star Wars Unlimited lives because Star Wars Destiny died, for example. And I think that it's interesting to look at each of the various games and what portion of the market they're trying to capture. And the best way to kind of analyze how a game can survive, I think, is to look at the big three. For those unaware, the big three are Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon, the three games from the 90s that have really kind of persevered through all the way till now. They are by far the oldest games that are still in print. There are obviously there are some other games that are still being printed that are comparably old. When you look at the list, I'm looking right now, but but certainly those three are the biggest ones and the ones that have been around the longest. So what is it about these games that makes them survive, and what are the things that you need in a trading card game to survive long term? I think there are three main qualities of a trading card game that help its prospects at long-term success. And interestingly, I think each one of these qualities is exemplified by one of the big three games. So number one, I think that in order for a TCG to survive long-term, it needs to have unique feeling gameplay. And this, I think, is best exemplified by Yu-Gi-Oh! I think a big reason why Yu-Gi-Oh! Has lasted so long and why it has maintained the player base that it has is to do with the fact that it is a very challenging to replicate experience. There are not other TCGs on the market that allow you to get that same feeling that you get while playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And allow you to kind of experience the same type of gameplay. No one has really designed a game that remotely resembles Yu-Gi-Oh! And for better or for worse, that means that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of the only show in town for that kind of experience where you're playing these very like high power combo-y games. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very fun, and I think that in part it's challenging to replicate that experience because it is designed really on a knife's edge in a lot of ways. So that's option number one, to have unique gameplay, and we'll look at how unique some of these games are with that kind of contextually in mind. Number two, a game can be highly collectible. This will not surprise anyone that I'm obviously referring to Pokemon when I'm talking about this quality. Pokemon at this stage is like bordering on being just an unregulated security, right? Like it is largely transacted as a collectible, more so even than I think it is as a game. Like I'm not even certain. I don't want to say something like complete conjecture and say that there could be no more Pokemon tournaments and the game would be fine. But I mean, I think it is unarguable that there are probably more people who collect Pokemon cards with no intention of actually using them as game pieces versus the other way around. And that's actually, I think, okay for a variety of reasons. Number one, if you've ever looked at the cost to play Pokemon competitively, it is very, very affordable, which is exciting. And that is in part because opening sealed product is a really desirable thing to do. And because opening sealed product is such a desirable thing to do, it drives the prices down on basically everything other than the really high chase cards that Pokemon puts into those packs, which that's a great thing for people who are interested in being players first. On the collection side, like, obviously there's awkward tensions with having a hobby like TCG being such a luxury hobby, and you know, it's not ideal that if you want to get something really premium that like potentially it is just prohibitively expensive. But from a survivability of the game long term perspective, obviously it being highly collectible is great, and it means that, you know, Pokemon is basically just printing money every time they make a new set with art that people like. So that is another way that other games have certainly attempted to attract players and attempted to retain players and attempted to convince people to buy product is why with high collectability. And then the third way that a game can stand out, and I think people are maybe trying to guess what I'm going to use as Magic's main quality. I actually think the third most important quality for a TCG to survive long term is for it to have a robust casual experience. And what I mean by this is, if a game is only enjoyable as an ultra competitive 1v1 game, that is necessarily going to filter out a ton of would-be players and would-be purchasers as well. And something that Magic has really leaned into in the last 10 years, and this is very obvious, is they have realized that they will make way more money and they will sell way more product by catering to Commander players, many of whom are exceptionally casual. The era of Magic being marketed by the Pro Tour, and the Pro Tour being the kind of main vehicle and driving force behind Magic's promotion, is over. And you're not going to get, you know, 15 years ago, you would get a video, you know, highlighting the careers of various Magic pros that would get hundreds of thousands of views, and it was the lens through which most people evaluated whether or not they wanted to play Magic. And now, that's not the case. Now, it's very much so through the casual experience. The content that gets the most views on YouTube is content of actual play Commander games, right? It's people sitting around a table. It's largely a venue for improv and to show off cool decks, but, you know, it is Commander. Commander is the thing that gets by far the most views, the most engagement. If you go into a store and you look at their schedule, many stores will have multiple nights allocated to Commander. Certainly when I was talking with one of the people who worked at my LGS somewhat recently, they were saying that, you know, Commander is like the most lucrative thing that they do, more or less. Like, that Commander players are the most likely to spend money at the store. And as a result, Magic has really, really deliberately leaned into this side of the game as a way to kind of massively increase their player base, and other games have tried to do this as well, with varying degrees of success, I might add. One of the other things I want to note is, even though I'm highlighting these three main ways that you can be successful, and I'm tying one of the big three to each one of them, obviously all three of these really popular long-lasting games have elements of each of these things, right? Like, Magic is also highly collectible. Magic also has unique gameplay. It's the progenitor of most of these gameplay mechanics that we're seeing today. So obviously it fits those other two categories as well. Yu-Gi-Oh! Same way, right? Like, there is somewhat of a casual experience to Yu-Gi-Oh!, although much less so, and I'll get to that. And it, you know, there is a collectability element, although less so. And same thing with Pokemon. There's obviously a casual experience in the sense that especially collecting is oftentimes a casual experience. And the gameplay, again, for Pokemon is also relatively unique. So let's look at a couple of games from the current era and evaluate whether or not they seem well set up for the long term using these three kind of pillars that I've discussed here. The first one I want to talk about is, I think, the one that in my mind is best set up for long-term success, and this is One Piece. So Bandai has a bit of a habit of kind of flipping between trading card games and dropping support for one when they and then the third game that I think likely has legs, although it is obviously very early to tell, is Riftbound. And obviously, if you start this by saying, well, it's a game supported by Riot Games and they have a lot of funding, and obviously that means that they're never going to discontinue a game and they're going to provide support for it. It's like, well, Legends of Runeterra is right there, kind of showing you that that's not true. And obviously Riot has discontinued support for games before. So it's not a situation where the company is so big that the game can't fail, because Riot has proven that they will be relatively mercenary in their decision making around the existence of games in their ecosystem. But that being said, Riftbound has a couple of things going for it. It has the collectability element, so you have these overnumber cards that people are actively seeking out, and then additionally you also have the medal cards that players can win for winning the best of a specific legend at a large-scale tournament. Those are both super desirable collector's items, and because there's already a well-established fandom for this IP that's like 15 years old that actively wants these things as collectibles and maybe not even as game pieces, it means that I think that those things are likely to retain their value in the long term, which is obviously positive towards printing new ones and things like that. Riftbound is trying to do the casual experience as well. You'll note in their rules, in all of their kind of promotional material, in the sponsored content they've done with content creators, there has been a real concerted push to show off that the game can be played not only as a 1v1 competitive game, but also as a 4-player social game, really trying to tap into that same kind of commander market. You can even see, like, they have been giving spoilers to Commander content creators who basically don't play Riftbound in their content. They maybe talked about it a couple of times, but they are really trying to infiltrate that space, and that is very clearly, I think, a requirement if you want your game to succeed, particularly in the West and maybe even North America. I think there is an increased need, I think, if you want your game to be long-term successful, to try and break into that market. In terms of unique gameplay, I don't think that Riftbound is doing anything groundbreaking in terms of its design space. Like, none of the effects are things that you read and you go, oh wow, I never thought of this game mechanic. The big thing, obviously, is that the battlefields and the way you win the game mean that instead of having just a number you're counting towards by attacking someone directly, you are engaging in a series of small combats where you both get access to a bunch of tricks. There's a lot of combat math and things like moving units from one battlefield to another or back to your own base are relevant. And that's quite interesting, and I do think it's a good wrinkle to add into your game. It is really the main wrinkle for their game. That and the mana system is somewhat unique, though it also kind of resembles Force of Will, so it's not totally unique. The idea of having a separate resource deck is certainly something that has been explored before. But, you know, all of these parts work together. And I think overall the takeaway I would say about Riftbound is that if you're someone who has been playing it, you kind of know that is just something about the game that feels very good. Like it does kind of like tickle the brain in the right way, to use some current era speak. I think that the one big thing with Riftbound, there are kind of two extant threats, and I made a much longer form video about this. The game balance right now is not very good, and they do need to resolve it. Early on in games' histories, they often do have issues with balance, and it is not necessarily a death knell. But Riot is not rotating this game until 2028, so there's a number of years that they need to protect and make sure are healthy, and currently the metagame is not healthy, and the gameplay that metagame is encouraging is not super dynamic, and as a result, I do think that there is something that needs to be done. But I think literally tomorrow, there's supposed to be, at time of recording, there's supposed to be an announcement around balance coming out. So that could very easily be resolved before I even post this video. But besides the balance, I think that the game is pretty well set up. The gameplay, while not incredibly unique, feels very good. And the wrinkle that they've created with the battlefields does mean that the games feel interesting and that they are often closer feeling, which is quite good. One issue that these leader-based games that are largely about creature combat can sometimes run into is you can end up feeling swamped by tempo, and if you fall behind on tempo early, the game just ends. And the battlefield mechanic means that you are kind of gated to only ever losing at most 2 points to your opponent in a turn, because they can just take both battlefields, but that's the most. So it allows for more comebacks, it allows for more deck design in ways where you don't necessarily need to commit to fighting for the board right at the beginning of the game, which I think is good in this leader-based design space. But obviously, yeah, they still have the balance problems to resolve. So those are the 3 games for me that I think are most well set up to survive in the long term. There are some others too that I wanted to talk about, but frankly, I either don't know enough about them to confidently speak about them, or I'm still not 100% sure of how I feel about the game's long-term prospects. So I didn't want to just kind of say stuff totally out of nowhere. I will comment briefly on 2 others though, with a little bit more concern, I guess, and less enthusiasm. So Star Wars Unlimited is one of my favorite trading card games. You can see the large card for it directly behind me. It's often covered by my head, and I would be remiss if I said I wasn't a bit worried about the game. Rotation just happened, which has drummed up a ton of interest, and I think that locally scenes are doing pretty well, but there are just issues where calendars at stores are increasingly filling, and at some point stores are going to have to make the challenging decision about what game is getting cut. I was talking with one of my friends yesterday, and he sent me the schedule for one of the LGSs that he goes to, and like their schedule is so full that they're running the Gundam TCG events at like 2 p.m. on a Friday or something like that, like the midday weekday event, just because there is no other time to run it, and apparently enough people who are interested said that they could come, which means like at a certain point, if games like Cyberpunk get released, if Lord knows there are probably a couple of other large IP TCGs that are still going to come out because they seem to be being so successful, like eventually these stores are going to have to start making choices about what games get cut and what games stay on the schedule. And I am a little worried that if Star Wars Unlimited starts to lose momentum in some stores, it could cause maybe a knock-on effect. I think that ultimately, if you apply the kind of 3 pillars to Star Wars Unlimited, the unique gameplay is there. Like, Star Wars Unlimited is not the most unique of the leader-based games out there. The big wrinkles in it are the dual arenas, so you're kind of like fighting in space and on the ground at the same time, which can create dynamic and interesting gameplay. And it is trying to be collectible. There are showcase versions of the leaders, which in the initial releases were pretty valuable, but ultimately now most of the showcases are only hovering like around $200 to $300 at most, which sounds like a lot, but in the context of having like really high premium chase cards is not like, that's not actually very expensive. And the game was also maligned by balance issues in its first rotation cycle, where cards from many of the sets were so unplayable in the premier format that those boxes didn't sell very well. And that's kind of self-correcting now as rotation has happened, and some of those cards that were being outclassed by cards from early on in the game's life cycle are now legal and in short supply. So maybe people will start opening some of those old sets again, which would be good for stores. But I would be remiss if I said I wasn't a bit worried. Star Wars Unlimited is another game that has tried to cultivate a casual experience in a multiplayer game called Twin Suns, and I have not personally played any Twin Suns, but to my knowledge, it is not a tremendously popular game mode. They are currently printing direct to Twin Suns cards, like they're printing a set that is literally going straight into their multiplayer format. So they are clearly very, very invested in ensuring that this format survives and continues. And I think that the reasons for that are really obvious. This is an attempt to cultivate a more casual fan base that doesn't necessarily need to worry about the game balance of the game being perfect all the time. If you have a second, more casual format to play, it might keep people kind of hooked and involved, even when the balance is bad. But yeah, I guess I'm a little worried, is all I would say. I'm not here doomsaying, saying that, oh, Star Wars is going to die. Star Wars Unlimited is not long for this world. Like that, absolutely not. That's not something that I am saying. But it is a little bit concerning. And similarly, I would also express some amount of concern for a game like Lorcana, which obviously has like Disney backing, iconic in a lot of ways, iconic characters. This one is more anecdotal on my side, but just when I went and looked through schedules for this video, I did not see it on a lot of schedules of bigger stores, both in Canada and in the US. Like it clearly is starting to drop off in popularity. I know that there are still large tournaments. I know that it's relatively popular in Europe. So that's not to say that the game is necessarily in like a death spiral or anything like that, but it is another one where when I looked at it, I was thinking, oh geez, you know, is this something that is going to have that kind of long-term staying power? And I don't know. I'm just not sure. One of the other original IP games that I think is very interesting looking, but I'm maybe a little bit concerned about, is Sorcery. So Sorcery is really trying to relive the experience of playing a TCG from the 90s, and that's awesome. I think that, like, aspirationally what Sorcery is trying to do is one of the coolest things in the TCG space currently. But there are things about the game that I think make it challenging to see it exist as a TCG. Notably, they're doing a release cadence of one set a year, and that I think is nice when you contrast it against like the 9 Magic sets that are coming out this year and like the 5 Riftbound sets that are going to come out in the next 15 months. Like, obviously, a lower and slower release cadence is certainly something that some players are going to be interested in. I do think that if you are interested in cultivating a scene of like competitive TCG players, releasing one set a year, it's going to make it challenging to get people to buy in, to get people to stick around. It raises issues of what happens when the game balance is bad. You know, you have to be really
¡A la madre! ¡A la madre! ¡A la madre! Booster Burger que tem que tener en el Prince Card explicit the explanation of the error. From your trash, from any player's trash.
Let me check my notes. 12 years late. Yeah, so keep in mind, everybody, that the games I'm playing here are enormously popular and have been discussed and analyzed to death. So probably everything I'm going to say is an ice-cold take that is like 10 years old. If you want to yell about it in the comments, go ahead, but I'm not gonna read it because ain't no one got time for that. The Uncharted games, Naughty Dog's predecessor to The Last of Us, were basically interactive action movies with surprisingly solid acting and writing. But The Last of Us is way more ambitious. This is aiming for real emotional human drama, and it largely succeeds. Like all the games I'm discussing here, it is designed to resemble a live-action movie, with more emphasis on the performances by extremely talented actors than I've ever seen in games before. But Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding takes it to a whole other level by featuring actual famous actors as most of the characters, appearing as lifelike digital versions of themselves. So you play as Norman Reedus and encounter other characters played by the likes of Lea Seydoux, Mads Mikkelsen, and Margaret Qualley, as well as characters with the likenesses of directors like Guillermo del Toro or Nicholas Winding Refn. Kojima's Twitter bio says, quote, "My body is 70% made up of movies." And playing this game, yeah, you get it. Beyond just featuring movie stars and major directors, the whole thing is littered with movie references. Like a random item you can pick up somewhere is the original soundtrack for the Dario Argento movie Deep Red. And Deep Red is my favorite Argento movie, so hell yeah, Kojima. One of the most surprising things about these games is that they actually dialed back the moviness a little bit from the last ones I played like 15 years ago. I'm talking about Uncharted 3 or Metal Gear Solid 4. These are all still very much story-driven, but they let more of the story roll out organically during the gameplay, and they keep the cutscenes a little briefer than they used to. It feels like we've mostly moved on from the era where we would put our controller down for 20 minutes when the game just turns into a movie. Like, if you remember, Metal Gear Solid 4 back in 2008 featured 7.5 hours of cutscenes, which made up 40% of the whole game. One cutscene was, I kid you not, 70 minutes long, which is technically a feature-length film. Because it's just on a more advanced, more powerful console, I was expecting Death Stranding to take that even further, but it actually scaled it back. According to an IGN article that breaks down the exact length of the cutscenes in all of Kojima's games, only 15% of Death Stranding is cutscenes. That's some real restraint. What it seems like these game designers realized is that as exciting as it used to be to have video games reach toward being movies, it's always going to be more exciting when we're actually doing something. So the more storytelling that can happen with us actually interacting with the game, the better. The cold open of The Last of Us puts you in control of main character Joel's daughter, who's witnessing the beginning of this zombie apocalypse happening outside her window and on her TV. So instead of stopping the gameplay for a bunch of expository cutscenes, it has you walk around and explore her house while news reports play on the TV and explosions happen in the distance out the window. When you and your dad and uncle get in a car to flee the house, your only control option is to look out the windows all around you, to witness the chaos happening at 360 degrees. It feels like an extension of a long take in an Alfonso Cuarón film, staying in a moment, planting us in a specific point of view, witnessing everything happening around us. But here, it gives us some control. We can choose what we're looking at, but we can't escape it. Cinema has always been about what is in the frame, and this lets us choose what is in the frame. It's simultaneously making us the audience and the filmmaker. We can't change the story, but we have a small degree of control over the storytelling. So God of War, the super serious 2018 reboot of the franchise. The big cinematic hook of this game is that it is all one shot, as in the gameplay transitions directly into the cutscenes, and through the entire game there's not a single edit. Obviously, we have had one-shot movies before. Rope, Russian Ark, Birdman, 1917, and honestly, I'm always a little bit skeptical of them. If we ever make the video about long takes that we announced like a year and a half ago and then had to postpone, I'll go into a lot more detail about this, but basically, as oneers have become increasingly common and popular in modern cinema, the more I have come to find them indulgent and distracting. I think sometimes the technical virtuosity can actually hurt the immersion, which is supposed to be the point of a oneer. Watch out, hot take incoming, but I think both Birdman and 1917 would be better without the one-shot gimmick. Since in both movies, I would sometimes find myself thinking about the camera and what it's doing instead of engaging with the story. But God of War actually executes the same idea much better. Since the entire thing is animated, there is no physical camera, and so at no point was I thinking about how it was being shot. I just accept it and give myself over to the game. And what this approach actually does is create a subjective experience better than most movies are capable of. Most of the game is focused on the relationship between Kratos, the main character, and his son, Atreus. And almost the whole thing is spent looking over Kratos' shoulder at what he's seeing. Like Son of Saul as a super violent, over-the-top action fantasy. In dialogue scenes, we usually don't see Kratos' face. Instead, we see the face of the person looking at him and responding to him, which is usually Atreus. So you instinctively start to care about this kid. You're thinking about how he's reacting to what you're saying. And you always see him from Kratos' perspective looking down. When you're teaching Atreus to hunt with a bow and arrow, you crouch behind him, placing a hand on his shoulder to guide him, and the game lets you control his shot, creating this literal connection between the player and this usually non-playable character. Not to keep complaining about Birdman, but one thing that annoys me in that movie is that the whole thing is one shot, but it's not following the main character the entire time. If the point of the one-take approach was to keep us rooted entirely in Michael Keaton's POV, that would make sense. But sometimes it moves away from him and follows different characters. But God of War actually commits to its single-character subjective experience, and it's extremely effective. So I'm declaring right now, that God of War 2018 is more deserving of the Best Picture Academy Award than Birdman.
So, are you saying God of War is a movie?
Absolute cinema. No, guys. Okay, it's not a movie. It's not a movie. It's not that simple. It's complicated. See, God of War can never actually truly be a one-shot game. Simply because of the game design, you often have no choice but to go to the upgrade screen to upgrade weapons or armor, or to look at your various moves and spells, which cuts away from the one-shot presentation of the main game. And because of the game's length, it's basically impossible to play in one sitting. So inevitably, you're going to have to pause it and get up and leave and come back later, creating breaks in what is presented as an unbroken experience. So it's executing certain ideas better than movies, but because of the nature of video games, it can never quite do what it's promising. But anyway, all I'm trying to say is that this subjectivity is maybe the greatest strength of these games. Like, it seems obvious. They're video games, they're interactive, you're controlling a character, you are literally them. But these are actually using the perspective as a key part of the storytelling. The Last of Us and God of War are both about the relationship between the central playable character and a non-playable character who accompanies them throughout the whole experience. And they use devices like the framing of the camera and the moments when the characters interact, whether climbing up a ledge or in combat, to develop that relationship beyond just the scripted dialogue scenes. And then, of course, Death Stranding has its own deeply bizarre version, where you've got a fetus known as a BB that lives in a tank connected to your chest, and you occasionally have to comfort it and take care of it. And at these points, the game shifts into a POV shot looking down at the BB, and you have to literally rock the controller to control rocking the BB to sleep. As usual, no one is doing it like Kojima, that maniac. There's a brief moment early in The Last of Us when Joel and Tess are walking through a basement and find a man pinned under some rubble who has just been infected by spores. The game prompts you to shoot him in the head. It's the first time you fired a gun in the whole game. And naturally, following the prompt, you shoot him in the head. But I then immediately found myself questioning my action. Did I have to do that? Isn't it weird how I just casually murdered a man? Is this who I am now? The interactive nature of this scene raises a moral question that hits harder than it would if you were simply watching it. Although it is then kind of undercut as the game progresses, and like most video games, you just murder tons and tons and tons of people because that is the only way to win. Including a doctor that is literally impossible not to kill. Maybe the biggest shift since I was last regularly playing video games 15 years ago is the graphics, which have made enormous leaps forward. Obviously, there is a huge range of visual styles in games, especially when you get to Nintendo games or indie games, but the dominant aesthetic in the major AAA blockbuster games, especially the ones I'm playing here, is one of total lifelike realism. These games are basically all presented as one step away from live-action movies. The settings, lighting, and virtual camera work are all imitating cinema. Other than Kratos' larger-than-life physique, there is little to no stylization or exaggeration. The character designs are all aiming for photorealism, with the graphical powers of the PlayStation 5 allowing us to see pores on characters' skin, and every bit of stitching on their clothing. I assume any day now we're going to get a Pac-Man reboot, where you can see every wrinkle and fold on that bright yellow skin, and it will be horrifying. The widespread embrace of this aesthetic is weird to me, because despite the motion capture done by actors to perform these characters and their actions, this is still animation. And we've spent the last 20 years talking about the uncanny valley, how virtual people that look too close to the real thing are unsettling. Like these days, when we look back at once groundbreaking animated films like Shrek or Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, most of us agree that the design of the human characters didn't age very well. And so why is it that in video games, we've all just accepted this as good and normal? Like, isn't it kind of weird that Death Stranding features Norman Reedus, Lea Seydoux, and Mads Mikkelsen playing CGI versions of themselves? What is the ultimate goal here? To eventually make games indistinguishable from live-action movies? Looking at these, you would think Robert Zemeckis' Beowulf was the most popular, influential movie of all time, because that's what these all look like. Is the ultimate goal of this to make the 2009 Gerard Butler movie Gamer a reality? Because we all remember how it turned out there. And by all, I mean the dozens of us who saw that movie. Anytime these games reached a really emotional scene, like in the prologue of The Last of Us with Joel cradling the dead body of his daughter, I just start wishing that I was either watching a live-action movie or a regular animated movie, not this odd hybrid. It definitely doesn't ruin the experience or anything, but I keep wondering how we all agreed that this is how games should look. Sorry, one sec. Gotta take this.
Patrick, how's the gaming going? I heard you guys are snowed in.
I think it's going pretty well so far. Did you need me for anything?
No, not really. Honestly, I just wanted to be in one of these narrative interludes you always do.
Okay, so you don't feel like this is interrupting the flow of the essay. Maybe just to be safe, we should say some relevant analytical stuff so that viewers don't feel like they can skip this part.
You mean like how photorealism is a death spiral, that pursuing it requires increasingly large teams and ever-lengthening development times, all to produce a game that must sell tens of millions of copies to justify its cost, therefore ensuring they'll always eschew bold design in favor of focus-grouped mass appeal?
Perfect. That's why you're the best in the biz.
Hey, did you talk about Heavy Rain yet?
It's up next. That game is crazy. Why did you make me play it?
I really just thought it would be funny. One sec. Oh man, my flight got delayed.
Well, good luck with that. I'm gonna get back to work. Sorry about that. So, I need to talk about Heavy Rain, the last game I played in this group. Originally released in 2010, a few years before The Last of Us, this was a major earlier attempt to deliver serious cinematic drama in video game form. And guys, this game made me lose my fucking mind. It is so weird. The opening 25 minutes are basically the cold open. And here's what happens. You are a man with a wife and kids. You're an architect who works from home. And the first things you do in the game are you go to the bathroom and you shave and brush your teeth and you even press a button to pee in the toilet. Yes, you literally use your controller to control the electric shaver on your face. Then you take a shower, you get dressed, and you go down to your drafting table and you draw lines on an architectural drawing with a pencil. When your family gets home, you play with your kids. You press a button to kiss your wife. Then later, you're all at the mall and you buy a balloon for your son. Again, this is a video game, and so you are pressing a button to take your wallet out of your back pocket. Then your son runs off and you fight your way through a crowd of people and you see him across the street outside. And when he runs toward you, he gets hit by a car. Cue sad piano music and a shot of his balloon floating sadly up into the sky. I can't overstate how strange this is. This section isn't even a game, it's a life simulator where you just press buttons to do banal tasks, and then it harshly swings into huge melodramatic tragedy. And then after this, the game jumps forward 2 years where you and your wife have clearly divorced, and you pick up your other son, the one who didn't die, from school, and you bring him home where you press buttons to help him do his homework and cook him dinner and tuck him into bed. Also, can I just point out how literally 2 of the 4 games I've played so far feature prologues that end with the main character's child getting killed. Also, I'm realizing that God of War begins when the main character's wife has just died, and in the first hour of Death Stranding, the main character's adoptive mother dies. Like, hey, video games, I know you want to show how serious and mature you are, but maybe just chill out a bit, okay? So anyway, back to Heavy Rain. What this game is attempting is admirable. And I see how this was a big deal in 2010 when mainstream video games were only beginning to reach for emotional complexity. But playing it now, it feels like a teenager's attempt to make serious art. Every time the main character sits down to talk to his surviving son, dramatic piano music plays, announcing to us, "Hey idiot, this is the emotional part now." The actual gameplay, outside of when you get to make a choice that will adjust the course of the story, is pretty tedious. Pressing buttons to open the fridge, and then pick up a bottle, and then take a drink from the bottle, and then put the bottle back, and then close the fridge. Heavy Rain is trying to be an interactive movie with branching narratives, where you can get tons of different potential endings based on your choices. Now, I think that sounds, at the very least, pretty fun. But it would really help if the storytelling were actually good. And this game is also a perfect example of the issue with photorealistic graphics I was just talking about. This game is from at least one generation before the rest of the ones I'm discussing here, so it's not quite as technically advanced, but the graphics are still aiming for the hyper-realistic live-action movie aesthetic with motion-captured performances by actors. And maybe we all thought this looked good in 2010. But now you look at it and you see it reaching for serious emotional drama, but with faces that can't really emote and just look kind of blank and creepy, especially the kids. And like, when characters kiss, their lips don't quite fit together right. So this obsession with realistic graphics just means that a decade later, it looks awkward and dated, while something more stylized from the same era still looks great. The question I find myself asking as I play all of these narrative-driven games is, what is the ultimate form of this story? Not that there is only one peak version of every story, but with these games, I end up approaching each one and wondering how essential it is that this actually be a game. How much would be lost by removing the interactive element and just making it a movie? Putting aside Heavy Rain, which is just not especially good, of the other three, The Last of Us is maybe the most acclaimed of them all. And I actually think it presents the weakest argument for being a game. Like, don't get me wrong, I like it a lot. I think it's really good. But we do have the HBO show right there, which is telling the same story, and I'm not sure how much is actually lost by removing the interactive elements. The core of it has always been the human drama, the relationship between Joel and Ellie, and not to in any way diminish the performances of Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson, which are excellent, but real live humans are always going to be able to communicate emotion better than hyper-realistic CGI people. Yes, there is the immersion and subjectivity that comes with a game, but how do you weigh those against what you gain from real live-action performers? Man, people in the comments are going to be mad about that. But then there's something like Death Stranding. I know A24 has acquired the movie rights, and Kojima, the most cinema-obsessed of all the game auteurs, feels destined to be adapted for the big screen. But how do you actually do this? Even more so than Metal Gear Solid, part of the bizarre, demented magic of this game is its unclassifiable place stuck between the worlds of cinema and video games. As Guillermo del Toro puts it,
Kojima's style breaks the barrier between cinema and games.
The insane experience of controlling a digital Norman Reedus and talking to a guy who looks like Del Toro but has a different voice about the little baby in a tank tied to your chest, and then spending a full hour silently walking over a mountain carrying heavy boxes isn't replicable in any other medium. Unlike some Metal Gear games, this is not 40% non-playable cutscenes. So much of Death Stranding is long stretches of quiet and isolation, an oddly meditative experience that is actually about the gameplay, not just trying to mimic blockbuster movies. The weird fit of these elements, like the endless exhausting exposition scenes and the spectacular action set pieces and the surreal fourth wall breaking interactive sequences, make this something that doesn't really make sense in any other form. As much as I enjoyed all these games, well, maybe not so much Heavy Rain, but the other three, I still don't know how to describe them. They all exist in this weird liminal space between cinema and games, and the more I try to define what they are, the closer I get to a minor existential crisis. It's like each new generation of games pushes this uneasy blend of art forms further, and I am kind of at a loss as to how to talk about them.
But Patrick, that's our specialty.
What do you mean?
That uneasy blend thing you mentioned. We do it all the time here on the channel. Like, are we doing video essays, or is this some kind of ongoing serialized TV show? I personally think it's great when we add this stuff to the channel. Remember when you went to India? People loved watching how bad you were at cricket. Or how about the time you solved the mystery of who's killing cinema? Audiences still talk about your Poirot impression. Or how about our Legacy sequel video that was an homage to Legacy sequel tropes, which was riffing on our previous episode that was an homage to Mindhunter. Totally cinematic and not sweaty at all.
Wait, hold up, stop it. Nubbles, what are you doing? This is the season finale, not a clip show.
This is the finale? I thought it was a Christmas special. Maybe it's kind of both.
See? My point exactly.
So does that make us like, I don't know, the Death Stranding of YouTube video essays?
Yes. Maybe?
Yes.
I don't know. That sounds confusing and weird. Either way, I'm gonna make a big batch of Christmas milk. There's one thing I've learned from the holidays, it's the only way to avoid unnecessary arguments is boozy cocktails.
Cuando me despedí, qué pedo.